Your home for the NFL, San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA play-in continued last night as the Miami Heat sent the Chicago Bulls home. 109-90 the final score. Miami's moving on to take on Atlanta tomorrow for the 8th seed. The Mavs, led by Anthony Davis's 27, took care of Sacramento's season. The final 120-106 over the Kings. The Mavs moving on to take on the Grizzlies. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Center.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning, everybody! Yeah, how we doing? It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Salud.
Oh, man. I ruined my intro with that stupid sneeze.
And your mic.
There's Rob Thompson. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, sir.
Passed on my boogers to Jason Minix for later today.
Let him breathe into that first.
It'll be his problem.
Gross.
It'll be his problem.
You know, it is kind of odd that we don't switch out mic condoms.
Yeah, when it was COVID, we did all the time.
I mean, that was just kind of very common practice.
Yeah. Even before that, I would.
Yeah, I used to have my own that I carried around. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, this is my own.
But there's evidently I was told that we have to have a very specific foam makeup for these microphones.
Well, yeah.
Because when you hear me in person, I sound a lot like Pee Wee Herman. So, to give you an idea of the top quality stuff we're working with here.
Yeah.
I know you are, but what am I? Yeah.
Your mic's broke.
Yeah,
There's something wrong with your mic.
Yeah, something's wrong with it.
Plug that in. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Rob. I'm doing well. It is a Thursday, a small Friday, as Rob likes to call it.
Yes, sir.
It's a great day. We are there's two less teams in the playoff mix. We are narrowing down the NBA field.
Bulls got their lunch money taken.
Yes, they
yesterday, man.
did.
The bullies showed up and took their money and went home.
We almost have the playoffs set. How about
Almost there.
Which is kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this play-in.
You know what? I hope to be a part of it one day. One day I aspire to be a part of this thing they call the play-in.
I'd rather just skip it and make the playoffs.
Well, there's that. But one must walk before they run.
I guess so,
told.
yeah. Well, the Rockets didn't. They just started running.
Well, they stumbled around there in the darkness for
Yeah, I mean, they
probably
stunk it up,
should've
and then they started
play-in.
running. Now they're
we'll
huge underdogs.
Yeah, they have a pretty good hill to climb, but of all the dogs, I think they've got the best spot.
I would think, them or Detroit are the dogs I'm interested in. My goodness.
So, see, this is what happens in the spring.
I'm allergic to something.
Well, it's in the air, brother. It is. Look out at your car. That yellow.
Oh, yeah.
That every
pollen.
Every car has on it now.
Just like
Hey, will you bring me some of those
haze.
paper towels or whatever you got in there that I can blow my nose? I just said yesterday I need to bring some tissues in, and I didn't.
Oh, I actually have some in my car. Maybe we go get some.
Well, if I'm still alive, then I've sneezed 4 times, Rob. I could be
my
dead.
nose is too soft for those.
Too
scents.
sensitive?
Man, that'd wear me out.
I mean,
I'd go cowboy and just blow snot on the rug.
I could do that. That's what I do outside usually, but I think it's frowned upon in the new studio.
Probably.
Yeah,
Although we could pick a corner.
It could be our snot
Our
corner.
snot corner.
I guess
Kind of like where my sons would throw their used socks, if you know what I mean. See,
There you go. Get
there
it
you
out.
Go. Get that out there, man.
Get it out.
Mocos coming south.
Mocoso.
Get the poison out.
Yeah.
I do need the playoffs to start just because last night was awful. I didn't stay up to see the end of the Mavs game, but
No,
it
was a
felt
blowout.
imminent.
Yeah.
Miami, very rarely do you say anything having to do with Billy Donovan getting his ass kicked. But
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra kicked Donovan's ass last night. Jumped out with Bam Adebayo guarding Josh Giddey, which was brilliant. Donovan never could figure out how to fix that, and it'll get lost in time. But Spoelstra needs to take the skin of that basketball and nail it to his wall because he stalked and killed a lion last night. It was a phenomenal coaching job.
You know, it's funny because hindsight's always 20/20, but last night, knowing the Heat were at least playing a team from a talent standpoint that they're kind of equal with right now.
True.
That we should have just hammered the Heat.
We should have.
Because Spoelstra has proven time and again he will get more out of his talent than anyone come playoff time. No one takes lesser teams and does more with them than Eric Spoelstra.
Tyler Hero took 10 free throws last night.
Yeah. And I know
convinced him to put it on the ground and get to the rim, that skinny fool.
Eric Spoelstra, I mean, when he came into the picture, was winning titles with the most talent. But since then, he has proven
he's a witch. Yeah.
He doesn't need it, man.
Really
he will find a way. He makes. I don't care what anybody says. Jimmy Butler, like on a good day, is like a top 25 NBA player.
Yeah. Now,
in the playoffs, Eric Spoelstra made Jimmy Butler look like freaking Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
true.
He gets more out of the guys that he's got. Like, you remember when Duncan Robinson was like a thing? Like Duncan Robinson could barely get on the court, and then in the playoffs, he was like, oh my God, who's this guy? I mean, I should have known that he would find a way to just blitz through an equally talented team.
When I think of, and this was, I guess, in the annals of time, it wasn't a big game, but it was bigger than others. But when I think of big game coaching moves, I think of Pat Riley. I think it was 82, put Magic in at center.
Yeah.
Was just brilliant. Just one of those things no one expected. He rolled him out there, and there was never a fix to it. I remember Pop came up with a couple of things. One was the rope-a-dope against Russell Westbrook. Just let him score 60 and let nobody else score, which was a genius night because Russell couldn't figure it out till about midway through the fourth that he was playing into a trap. The Hack-a-Shack from Pop was one of those things like, brilliant, we outcoached you. We won on brains, not brawn. And last night, that was a brilliant move. Put Bam out there on their point guard, this triple-double machine that had eaten their lunch 3 times this year. I mean, the Bulls owned Miami this year, and just a simple switch like that in a playoff game, that's why there's a Spoelstra in the world. That's why these dudes are around, because they're that freaking smart. And he did it to another really, really good coach who just did not have the manpower nor the wherewithal or the time to figure out what Spoelstra did to him. It was brilliant.
Yep. So congrats. I say congrats. They still haven't made the playoffs.
No.
So
I mean, it's going to take a lot of that witchcraft for Miami to move on. I mean, he's going to have to be a 6th player. I mean, there's going to be that kind of strategery for him because they don't have the talent.
And that's why I said, like, nobody gets more out of less talent. Yeah. But if they beat Orlando tomorrow, then the big prize is going up against Cleveland for 7 games. I mean, you're just
both these teams,
you're overwhelmed. But
if either team wins the title, they put a cherry on top of not the title, wins the next series. If either team just wins the series, they'll be mad in the locker room, but they'll wake up the next day and put a cherry on top of the sundae that was this year. Miami, because they did it out of the rubble. They did it with dudes that just wanted it more. Orlando did it because that's the next freaking step. We have to take this. So I think either team looks at this series like if they get this done, then they can rest easy. They accomplished their long term.
Well, it's funny because Orlando, you can see the vision in what Orlando's got.
Absolutely.
Like they've got some good talent. They're a work in progress. Miami doesn't feel that way.
No, Miami looks at it like we're going out with a bang, not a whimper, brother. I mean, this team is over. So we wanted it more than they did, just because we're freaking better at this than they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they parse the one more series and then getting destroyed by Cleveland in 4 straight. I think they can walk away that last 4th game after the loss going, that sucked, but the season, dude, one for the ages.
If you get into the playoffs, maybe it's a success for them. I don't know. I think missing it's weird. It comes down to just one game, but I think if Orlando misses the playoffs, given their talent, it'd be pretty disappointing.
It would be. Whereas here they go again.
If Miami made it, it'd be like, that's impressive.
Respect.
Although Orlando, I do give them credit. They spent a lot of the year going through some bad injury stuff. And why am I talking about Orlando? They're already in. Atlanta's the team that they're playing against. Yeah, Atlanta sucks too.
Neither team wanted to be where they are.
Good news, but because because now Miami's playing an equally untalented team, I'm hammering Miami in this game.
Well,
I have to. Because Atlanta sucks too.
Yeah, and both of them didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
Both of them had intent on rebuilding. Both of them lost out on a lottery pick.
Yeah.
Or a high lottery pick. So, I don't know who to hammer.
Well, I know listen, if you're a Spurs fan, you're cheering for Miami because
it will help in the long run.
You get a couple ping pong balls.
You might get the 14th instead of the 15th.
Well, you get a chance. Any chance is a chance at the one.
So you're saying there's a chance. This one will be any normal year in the East. Neither one of these teams is even in the playoffs.
No.
So that's kind of how I have to chase this.
But yeah, we'll get into those games. We are again going to be giving away Fiesta tickets. I've got Oyster Bake tickets I'm going to give away today. I've got Nyosa tickets I'm going to give away today. I've got Alamo Heights Nights tickets I'm going to give away. I'll tell you what. Here's how I'm going to do it. You be around at what do we think, Vic? 45 or 35? 35?
Let's do 640.
No, not 6.
740.
740, 840, 940.
There you go.
Oh, we are setting
That's appointment listening.
That's what.
Yeah.
We're going to give away a pair of tickets to a Fiesta for a Fiesta event for Nyosa, Alamo Heights Night, and the Oyster Bake. We'll give away a pair each hour starting in the 7 o'clock hour. So be there or just pay your own money.
Yeah, pay your own way in.
Yep.
You could do that. It'd be a mistake. I might be dead by then. I don't know.
No.
It's the
be
Pepsi.
all right.
You blame. I haven't opened it.
Oh.
You blame that
That's
pollen.
good.
I do blame the pollen, and this morning being specifically, not the right word, but especially that's
Windy
the word
because it's windy.
Because the breeze, yeah. Did you come down the back road today?
No.
I'm pretty sure I saw a flying fox or a large bat.
What?
Man.
Or I saw a large black thing fly over a road that I was. It could have been an owl, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems likely.
It was at least.
Where were you at?
I don't know the name of
I
this
don't know
road.
the name of that road either. It's it's the back way in.
It's the Bat Cave entrance for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I only take it if I go straight through the light if the light's green. If it's not, usually there's a flashing yellow to turn, and then I'll turn because I just don't want to wait at the light.
Okay.
But there's a lot of wildlife back there. You have to watch out for deer.
A few homeless dudes.
And you have to watch out for hobos.
Hobos sleeping in the streets.
yeah.
But other than that.
But I don't know about flying dogs.
I didn't know it was
out,
a
man.
video game for y'all to get.
Oh,
to.
it's like it's GTA on the way into
I
work.
was gonna
You
say.
have a straight shot, Vic. You just
I'm with all the lights good. I'm here in 2.5 minutes.
But he has to also beat the train.
Yes.
There is a life and death situation
Hey, but
every,
the train
every other day or so.
I'm here before 4:30, but the train does come around 4:35, because I could hear it when I'm out there feeding the kitties. It's like I made it.
Here it comes.
Yeah, I only caught it once.
it is a little windy and chilly today, to the point where when I showed up, the cats weren't out there. And I said, "Oh, maybe they're huddling up, staying warm." And then, right when I was about to get to the door, the old cat came and jumped up at my leg, surprised me, like, "Hey, I'm here, bud."
I was gonna say they
What's
were
up,
here
dude?
earlier.
No, they wanted the wet food today. I gave them the dry food.
Yeah, they're like, "Man, what the hell, man?"
I still have some.
Why do you alternate? Just to conserve?
You don't want to spoil them. Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta make it
you
last.
can't.
Oh, these are the most spoiled.
Yeah, I'm making the
Barn
canned
cats
food.
ever.
Yeah,
Gotta make it last.
Gotta make it last. Yep.
If they're really hungry, they'll eat it.
Yeah, I mean, if they'll eat the dry, it would just be dry in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do it to my cat.
But I didn't know this, having not had cats in 40 years. If you feed a cat wet food, they don't need nearly as much water. They get so that would probably help them not having to drink.
yeah.
Out of
Like
puddles.
my cat doesn't even drink water.
Yeah,
like,
I noticed that.
Unless I leave and I put down dry food, like the slow feeder dry food, then she'll want water. But yeah, the vet was like, if she doesn't want to drink water, it's no big deal as long as she's eating that wet food because it's got enough water in it to like sustain her.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, cats are it's like they're like
My dog
plants,
will-
Rob.
You
Yeah,
learn
my dog
something
will
new
drink
every
a
day.
gallon at a time.
Oh, I know.
It's ridiculous.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll come back. We'll continue some NBA talk. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we just cleared a couple of trouble spots. That road work on I-10 eastbound, the off-ramp to 1604. And they've also picked up the road work I-10 eastbound 1604 UTSA Boulevard. Now, we still have that stalled 18-wheeler on 35 northbound at 1604. It is now off to the right shoulder. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out at number 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Texas Lottery.
Play the new $3 million cash scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery and enter for a chance to win a dream vacation to Rome, Paris, and Lisbon by private jet.
Yes!
Play today. Must be 18 or older. Play responsibly.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames, because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster, which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are officially 1 week away from the NFL draft. That's going to be fun.
We'll talk about it with John McClain and when he joins us at 5:15.
And the NBA play-in. We know who is going to play for the 8 seeds now. We'll talk about that.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Oh, come on, Vic. I was letting it play and then... All right, fine. Fine. Morning Huddle on 94.1. Did he ruin this song?
Well, wasn't it this when I was in high school? Well, I guess this came from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh,
but this is the greatest sex song of all time. This was back in the early 80s, according to one movie.
Now, this is a this song obviously is not from the 80s.
It's from the 70s, but I'm talking about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which came out in like 83.
The
what's the ticket dude? Whatever his name.
Damone?
Damone gave his buddy like put what's this?
Oh,
this is
yeah,
Led Zeppelin 4, right?
Yeah, no, this is Physical Graffiti.
Physical. Well, no, he wanted. I think he said Led Zeppelin 4. Sorry, but I thought he was always talking about this song.
Cashmere is this song. Yeah, this was on Physical Graffiti.
Well, maybe
he
said this one, but
like this is like late. I say late Zeppelin. This is like late relevant Zeppelin. This is like mid 70s Zeppelin, 1975.
Well, I think 4 came after this. Then
no, 4 came before this.
Okay,
yeah,
then he must have been. I thought he said Led Zeppelin 4.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but yeah, I remember Damone and the hot chick at the mall.
Whoa,
Jennifer.
Whoa.
Yeah. Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Oh yeah.
And Phoebe Cates,
right?
Yeah.
Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe.
We all became men to Phoebe Cates.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Bought our poster at Spencer's.
Oh, did we ever?
Remember Spencer's and Windsor
Spencer
Mall?
Gifts. Well, we had the same version at Ingram, but we had Edgar's.
Oh, yeah.
You guys didn't have Edgar's.
Yeah,
we
didn't have them.
Yeah.
You had Jerry Curls.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Zeppelin. So Zeppelin 4 would have been like 1970 or 71.
Oh no, that's way earlier.
That's when I was born. Jeez.
Yeah, and so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they were technically untitled, but then it was Houses of the Holy and Physical Graffiti.
Yeah, that guitarist on that band wasn't that good. Though.
Pretty good though. No, not quite Edge level, but pretty good.
You know, he was going to get good there, right there.
I heard that he had potential. He had potential. Rob thinks he's all right. It's okay.
He's really held back by the music.
Yeah,
you know, the band really held him back. That Jimmy Page could have been something.
He could have worked out. If he would have really focused, and if he would have ever met Bono, if he would have found the right cause,
maybe opened the Bible every now and again. Maybe if
he found the right cause, he could have been. Or maybe if he'd put on a beanie cap. Isn't the Edge? Doesn't he always wear a beanie cap?
Yes.
I hate that look.
Me
it's so
too.
Weird. Why does he do that?
I don't understand it, but it seems
he
to
bald?
be addictive. I assume so. I just assume that
I guess that's what it is. He doesn't want people to know that he's bald.
Well, if you do, we know. If you never are seen without a hat, we know. We know. You don't need to hide it. We know.
That's such a weird thing to like. I don't know, to always and only wear one kind of hat.
You think, you wonder if it's like attached like Joe Dirt.
There's no
like glued on.
But he's got sideburns. So I mean, is it possible that he's like Scott Pollard and he's just totally bald with sideburns so it doesn't look like he's bald?
The young Hitler youth look, the neo-Nazi of the year award winner.
I need to see him without his hat.
I don't think there's a picture of him without his hat.
I really don't.
Because he's either got the beanie or a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, I only see, and he rocks it constantly. Like it's in like after photos, like after band, like after the show, the band takes photos together. He doesn't take it off.
Yeah.
He meets with fans after the show. They do interviews. He's always wearing that hat.
It's Joe Dirt. It's glued on. Permanent.
It's gotta be. I hate that look. I don't like that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. You got to change it up every once in a while.
Yeah, I had a son come home from college, and had it on for like 4 days. I'm like, brother, no. Sorry, son.
He was trying to be the edge.
Maybe.
Okay, so here's one where it looks like he's got some hair in the back, but it's possible that maybe he's got
more Joe Dirtish.
Maybe he's got a bozo ring. I don't know. I'm fascinated now by
his dome has an opened roof.
I want to know. Yeah, we got to know what's going on with this guy. There are some pictures of him young, and he already had what do they call it? The widow's peak. But he didn't wear a hat when in the early days of U2. But now he always wears a hat. So I don't know. I'm fascinated by this look now.
Well, he leads Jimmy Page in hat wearing. That's
yeah.
One for
yeah.
him.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy Page can't fit a hat on that hair.
Well, there was that.
He's got a big mop head.
70s denim.
All right. We are gonna. I guess we're gonna preview the games. I guess we'll really dig into the previews tomorrow, since we now have a night off in the NBA. But I am curious your thoughts on because we talked a little about the Heat and the Hawks. I think the more interesting matchup is in terms of franchise direction is happening in the Western Conference. This Mavericks Grizzlies, one of these two teams is going to miss the playoffs that we never would have. I guess the Grizzlies, you could picture a world where they missed the playoffs before the season. The Mavericks.
Well, I don't know. A fully healthy Grizzly team is expected to contend.
I agree.
They're put together with the plan of this year. You got former defensive player of the year. You got a big center who's got another year of growth with the Edie.
You have a star.
You got a star. They've spent a lot of money on guys to go around them with shooters from Bane to Luke Kennard. They've got everything on the roster to very much be a contender. So no, there's a reason why Taylor was fired, because they have not lived up to expectations. So they're dealing with bench issues. The Mavs are just dealing with utter freaking chaos with a general manager that can stick it in the eye of every sports writer in the world with a win right now.
Well, it's also possible if the Grizzlies were to lose this game, they would be a 48-win team that didn't make the playoffs. So the Grizzlies would have been the 5 seed in the Eastern Conference.
You think as a Spur, I want to be in the East. What about Memphis? They got a viable argument to be there.
Yeah.
Can we trade?
Yeah, they would have been the 5 seed in the East. Instead, they've got a 1-game play-in to decide if they're the 8 seed or not, if they get to play Oklahoma City or not.
And I'm just comparing talent. I'm not comparing off the court anything.
Okay.
Ja Morant has to be very careful right now before he becomes Ray Allen.
Okay. What?
Ray Allen, until he landed in Miami, was a merc, was a hired gun who was great, but was very evidently unable to do it by himself. Certainly couldn't get past the Spurs, no matter where he was.
Oh, yeah. I think Ray Allen was always looked at as a
superstar without...
Was he? I never felt like Ray Allen. If Ray Allen was the best player on your team, I never had any doubt that you weren't going anywhere.
Right. And next year, you're going to start looking at Ja going, if you're the best dude, you can't do it, is what I'm getting at.
I've said that about James Harden forever.
Well, Harden, Dame Lillard, we can name a bunch of guys where Ja, up until we gave him an excuse. You didn't get to play. Your youthful exuberance kind of kept you out away from your full max. Well, we're kind of getting to the point where I know what Ja is. And he's Russell, he's James, he's Dame, he's all these greats that have come before him that had to go through about 5 years of I'm the guy to then you realize he's not the guy. He's a significant piece, but you're going to have to go better than the guys you've gotten around him, or he's going to have to go someplace where there's a structure already set up for him to play.
And that's totally fair. But if we do that, mind you, he's from the draft class 1 year before Anthony Edwards. That means next year Anthony Edwards is on the clock.
Edwards, I would not. I'm still going to say Anthony Edwards. I'm going to give him a bye for this year because of the Olympic performance and the Olympic year. I just think he's freaking exhausted because I still see potential there. I'm not there yet with him, but I am there with Ja. Like, dude, you're just going to go down as another world be free. I could name 100 different guards that everybody loved for about 5 years and just kind of faded into obscurity, just kind of disappeared after a while. or you can start making a difference.
What I will say for Ja is, and I think he will always kind of get a break because the other guy, the guy that went before him, Zion, has been more of a disappointment than Ja.
But, you're right. But I think the further you get away from the draft, I'm not comparing him to the draft dudes. I'm only thinking about what he's done with his team because he arrived and there was an escalation. My gosh, you made it to the Western Conference Finals. You're right. The world is your oyster. And then here we sit. And I remember Ray Allen with Milwaukee, then going to Seattle. And you're like, well, it's just not going to happen. We like your effort. James Harden, man, we're right there. Don't think it's going to happen. Next, here's Ja. Next, Anthony. Next. I mean, he's one of those many guys in waiting that just won't finally take that last step to true greatness.
Well, let's also remember the year before that draft class is the year that Luka got drafted, 2018, and he still hasn't won anything either.
No, but he continues to carry his team. Like, he took his team to the West, and, I think if he wouldn't have done it this year or we'd have seen a dip or a plateau, no, he'd have joined the crew. He'd have joined the rest. Now, Dirk joined that crew and finally
broke through.
Finally broke through, but he could have very easily been that guy too.
Where does Ja rank amongst the guys who haven't won yet that it's like, dude, the clock's ticking?
I don't think he's there yet.
He's got to be behind Luka. Like, Luka
Luka's clock is ticking.
He's like, because Luka, you could make an argument, is the best player in the league or amongst them, and doesn't have a ring. So that's the first guy you look at, right?
But I would say yes and no. Because one, Luka's older and Luka is better. And Luka has taken his team further in different scenarios. But the thing about Luka is the guy can get old and lose a step, and it really won't matter.
Because athleticism it's not what he's about.
And Ja is about being able to touch the top of the box. So his clock is ticking just because of his age and athleticism.
All right. Well, I want to dig into this Mavericks and Grizzlies game, and I want to get your thoughts on what it would mean for the Mavericks to win or lose this game. Because it's such a mess in Dallas right now. We'll talk about that. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we just cleared a couple of trouble spots. That road work on I-10 eastbound, the off-ramp to 1604. And they've also picked up the road work I-10 eastbound 1604 UTSA Boulevard. Now, we still have that stalled 18-wheeler on 35 northbound at 1604. It is now off to the right shoulder. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out at number 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. If you have a spicy side, Taco Bell now has a menu to match. Taco Bell's new Caliente sauce made with red jalapenos is the spicy side of Cantina Chicken. Try it today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact store for availability.
Being arrested isn't just a setback. It's a nightmare that can destroy your life and reputation. If you want to rewrite your story after the worst night of your life, you need an aggressive, skilled defense team. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates. We're here to make sure your one bad night doesn't turn into a lifetime of regret. Protect your reputation. Contact Barton & Associates at 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasArrest.com. Barton & Associates. Your defense starts here.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's gonna audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow. That is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen up, San Antonio. At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can get college credit for the stripes you've earned. Turn your military rank into college credit to save time and money on an online degree. Eligible enlisted service members and previously enlisted veterans may receive up to 12 credits for select undergraduate courses based on their rank, and up to 90 credits in total for prior learning, military experience, and training. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu/SATX.
Join us for San Antonio's premier Fiesta event, Taste of the Northside, presented by HEB, Thursday, May 1st at 6. Experience gourmet food and wine tastings, sip on elevated spirits and cold brews, and enjoy live entertainment at our new location, The Rock at La Cantera. All proceeds benefit Brighton Center, serving children with disabilities and developmental delays in San Antonio. Limited all-inclusive tickets are $300 in advance and can be purchased at tasteofthenorthside.org. Viva Fiesta!
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text KING to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KING to 321-321. That's KING to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 5-star reviews on Google. So who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are officially 1 week away from the NFL Draft. That's going to be fun.
We'll talk about it with John McClain and when he joins us at 5:15.
And the NBA play-in. We know who is going to play for the 8 seeds now. We'll talk about that.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's go! Hi, it's Jason Minix. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the power of love.
You cannot hear this song and not be in a good mood. And it's not so much about the song, but yeah, Huey Lewis is like music bubblegum, but it's the movie. You just can't. You think Back to the Future is just one of those feel-good movies that you just.
It's funny because now I associate Huey Lewis more with American Psycho than I do with Back to the Future.
I do Back to the Future.
That's a completely different connotation. Things went south.
Yeah.
That's like the photo negative.
But he was going in there to put on the Huey Lewis, and he'd be like, the great thing about Huey, and then he'd just kill it.
Come to think of it, I kind of sounded like him just then, didn't I?
I thought you were like, man, you can't be in a good mood if you're not
notice
everything
the
about
musical
hacking up a
downbeat.
woman.
Notice how they hit on the one.
Dun, dun.
Did you know Kenny Rogers and Huey Lewis had a band together?
No.
Yeah, they were a rock band back in the day. Just think what could have been.
What could have been.
Huey Lewis Roasters.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. All right. I wanted to ask you about the Mavericks. Obviously, this season has, from a PR perspective, more than anything, has been a complete disaster. On the court's been pretty much a disaster. Is it a good thing or a bad thing for the Mavericks season to end tomorrow? Is it almost like...
What a great question.
If the Mavericks lose tomorrow, they can close up shop, and Nico can go hide under a bridge for several months and then come out and try again. If they win and now they get a playoff series, and then we know what will happen in a playoff series between them and Oklahoma City. I don't need to spell it out, but it's just more time to go. Why would you trade? Why would you do this? Is it a positive thing you think right now for the Mavericks to just go home and
it's kind of like when you have you stopped beating your wife kind of question?
Yeah,
because to prove that Nico did the right thing, he needs to play and win.
Yeah.
But to just get out alive, he needs to go away.
Yes.
It's such a great question. Because there's other parts in this play. Like, what is Anthony Davis? What's his role in this? Is it better for him? Does he need to?
Anthony Davis
continue doing the 25 and 12 just to kind of justify, so he's not this afterthought of the worst trade in history. Although it was brought up to my attention that, as I've called it, the worst trade in NBA history. It's not. But I'll tell you, the team that did deal with it and how long it took for them to get over it was Milwaukee. They traded away Kareem.
Yeah.
And it took them 30 years to get themselves back. So when we talk about in the annals of time, we're talking about something about this. And can anybody who came to Milwaukee from the Kareem deal?
Well,
I can't.
I can tell you it certainly wasn't a top 15 player in the league, which is what Dallas got.
Well, what I'm saying is if Anthony Davis doesn't live up to expectation, he becomes that afterthought, that guy, who came to Minnesota for Herschel. It seemed like a good deal at the time.
But the difference is, Anthony Davis is a Hall of Famer.
Well, he is, but he will get in because of stuff he's already done.
Yeah.
He risks getting 25 a night and 25 and 12 and leading a bad team might be the best thing for him, too, to just kind of justify to all the people like, oh, yeah, well, Anthony Davis sucks and is worn out. Well, for his own personal brand, edification, and all that, I'd want to go play. Brother... But you run the risk of, like I said, sometimes it's better to be thought a fool than to speak and prove it. You might roll out next week and get your ass just royally handed to you, and everybody's standing around going, I told you so.
Well, if Nico would prefer to get out of Dodge, Anthony Davis would prefer to keep winning games.
I would think
because
Anthony
the way
Davis,
he played last night tells you Anthony Davis is still balls to the wall. He's competing. He's trying to prove that. Think what you want. He's like, I might not be Luka right now, but
exactly,
I'm not chum.
But you run the risk if he goes away to heal your wounds and let's just get better and play great next year of not even coming close again. So I think Davis wants to play. If I'm Nico and I'm Jason Kidd, I know the real world. I know we're about to get waxed. When this is over, and we might shock the world and win a playoff series, but when it's over, it's going to be over. Because once we start playing the really good teams, the ones that can understand how to play the big lineup we're playing, we're in deep doo-doo because we got no backcourt. He knows it. Everybody else knows it. And they're savvy enough maybe to win a series. But when it's over, it's going to look terrible. It's not going to be a 4-3 shot that ends it. It's going to be a 4-0 waxing.
I just feel like Anthony Davis has enough fight in him that the Mavericks will at least keep things interesting. Anthony Davis last night, I don't know, halfway through the fourth quarter, they caught him on camera talking to Kings fans, saying, "Y'all might want to get out of here now, beat that traffic." He's got a little dog in him right now. I think he's got a little salt to him.
I would think about it. He is an afterthought. He is he is. I cannot remember a single player that the Cowboys got in the Herschel trade, but he's one of those. In a little bit higher fashion, but he's a worn out, oh my gosh, what has happened? Oh, that's right, he's in Dallas. That's where he is. I forgot.
And he continues to make Domantas Sabonis his bitch.
Well, he's 6'7" with 2 pairs of socks when Sabonis is playing. So yeah, he got
fifth
mouse
straight
in the house
loss
last night.
Fifth straight loss against Anthony Davis for Sabonis.
Well, it's not fair.
He's dreadful every time they play.
Well,
it's
he's 6'8" at best. I mean, he's not a very tall dude.
Hey,
and
man,
Anthony
do the
Davis
job.
Destroys him. No,
Do the job, Bubba.
I mean, that's always going to be Sabonis's problem against the true bigs of the world. He is nothing but a mid-sized power forward.
Yeah, he's a speed bump. All right, we'll be right back. Wrap up hour number 1. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen 1 too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
George gets justice. The accident wasn't your fault, but now you're facing pain, bills, and uncertainty. You don't have to do it alone. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, they listen, explain your options, and fight for what you deserve. No upfront costs, no stress, just real help when you need it. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Gentlemen, testosterone levels can start dropping in your 30s, leading to low energy, reduced libido, and slower metabolism. Rock's Discount Vitamins is making it easy to take back control. No appointments and no prescriptions. Just head into a Rock's and walk out with a natural solution tailored to you. Our powerful line of natural testosterone boosters can help increase energy, build muscle, rev up your metabolism, and reignite your drive. You'll feel the difference and fast. Visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God in South Texas.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row.
Groundworks is the official foundation repair company of Texas Athletics. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
If you owe money to the IRS, they'll come after you until you are flat broke. Don't just roll over and take it. The IRS has changed. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a huge break, as much as 87%. Haven't filed a return for years? It's time for Guardian Tax. Their happy clients are celebrating.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Is tax debt ruining your life? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax understands how the IRS works. Personal or business, this is the fresh start you've been praying for. You're scared of the IRS, and for good reason. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Visit GuardianTax.com or call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over those beautiful icy balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu that's second to none. And Twin Peaks hand-stretched flatbreads, oh, they're coming out hot. Close out your night with our favorite flatbreads. They're available during the late night hours, Sunday through Thursday for only $8. That's only from your favorite lodge, Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and oh, those scenic views.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
$740, we're going to give away some tickets to the Oyster Bake. Hope you guys are ready. Have your fingers ready. Christopher says AD's not all that. Man, okay.
Yeah.
He was last night. He was all that. And hey, listen, man, I think it's a little unfair to act like Luka got traded for a bag of beans because AD is still.
And yeah, that's the perception. It really is. We talk about how can Dallas do this, and my gosh, they traded the next and this and that. They did get a world champion Hall of Famer in return who does have 3 or 4 more years left. Now, he's got about 2 great ones.
Yeah.
I mean, the clock is truly ticking, but they didn't just get a bag of beans. But who was on the brigade bar? I don't have enough.
That was Christopher who said that.
Christopher, I think, was representative of the general NBA population. That, yes, he got a ring, but how did he get it? You know, it was in that weird hotel ballroom thing they were playing in front of a bunch of fatheads. But, yeah, okay, you got one. And in New Orleans, when you were truly the man, you weren't anything, you know? And the further we get away from the bubble, we realize that wasn't real. Whatever that was, it was hard, but it wasn't real. And now, over the last several years, yeah, you've been around, you know, but it wasn't your team.
Yeah.
So I think there's the perception that he could truly change how we think of him by how he reacts to this.
And Claymore says, chill out, Rob. We're just glad Davis and this current version of the Mavs have made the play-in tournament.
Are you really?
Organizations tank, players shows up to play. Can't ask more as a fan. Nobody accused them of being world beaters. Let's go Mavs. I mean, yeah, I think you as a fan, you want to see your team still go out there and compete. Well, but I also know that most Mavericks fans are so angry at Nico right now that it's like maybe failure would be the best way to stick it in his face.
Well, you're truly looking at this glass half full. If you're telling me that if Mav fan is like, well, you know, at least we're here. Let's interview the same Mav fan before the trade deadline. What was the expectation?
Right.
So, yeah, you altered your ideals of what, you know, a good season is, but this is no place to be, man.
Yeah.
You're just you were on a yacht. Now you're on a lifeboat. You're still floating, so you got that.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody was like, we're just glad that this team made the play. And no, like you were there last year. Like I'd be kind of pissed off. I mean, I guess it beats not being in the playoffs. But the thing about not being in the playoffs at all is everyone's going to look at Nico and go, dude, what the?
Yeah, and it's not like there's a bunch of draft picks coming. They've committed a bunch of stuff down the road. They're really going to have to manufacture this. I mean, it's going to have to be what you got.
It would almost be good if you're as a Mavs fan. It'd almost be good if you suck next year too, because then there's no injury stuff. You see, if next year you suck, Nico's his head is gonna have to roll.
You're not going to see Kyrie till December. You know, I mean, at the best, you just don't have a lot of time.
It's almost like the Texans. Like there was a point for Texans fan where they were like, I just hope everything goes wrong until Jack Easterby and Bill O'Brien are gone from existence.
A pox on your house. Let everything collapse.
Yeah, and then when those guys were gone, it was like, all right, take a breath, fresh air. Let's start over.
Well, you know, the Spurs tried to change. I was likened it to changing a flat tire doing 50. You know you got a problem, but you just can't stop.
Right.
And it's cost them 6 years of playoffs.
Yeah.
They could have just been like Baylor and let everybody go, and they'd been in the same boat 6 years ago.
All right. 1 hour in the books, 3 to go on a small Friday, baby. We'll continue to talk NBA. We'll check out the latest on the NFL draft. I've got some teams that could trade up or trade down in the NFL draft. Might be of interest. Plenty to discuss. Morning Huddle on 94.1.
Riding the work with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Luxury is having a choice between Taco Bell's new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Craving Boxes. It's luxury because there's no wrong choices. There's just right cravings. So choose your Lux Cravings box at Taco Bell today. At participating stores while supplies last. Prices vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra.
Hi, everybody. Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas. I absolutely love the Golf Club of Texas. They've made so many improvements to the golf course, from brand new cart paths to resodding the greens and fairways. You might think it's a private club, but it's not. It's open to the public 7 days a week. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, you know where it is, right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
A sort of accident-prone bride. What's the deal?
I was just kind of like blacking out. I don't even know how to explain it, but...
Some lucky guy's going to marry her.
Oh my
God, and I just threw up. The 60 seconds that she was out was everybody else's favorite part of that wedding.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count, because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team: Southern Recipe Small Batch.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's gonna audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates. Divorce is tough, but it's up to you to take control and avoid your spouse from dictating the terms. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about securing your assets, safeguarding what you've worked hard for, and avoiding unnecessary losses. Visit TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working a couple of trouble spots. 1604 eastbound at Babcock. That's a stall that's off to the shoulder. An accident, 410 northbound Ingram, right shoulder blocked. Now, if your travels are taking you into the Austin area this morning, 71 westbound shut down with a major accident, B Caves Road on over to 620. If you guys see something that we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out. And that number is 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA play-in continued last night as the Miami Heat sent the Chicago Bulls home. 109-90 the final score. Miami's moving on to take on Atlanta tomorrow for the 8th seed. The Mavs, led by Anthony Davis's 27, took care of Sacramento's season. The final 120-106 over the Kings. The Mavs moving on to take on the Grizzlies. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Talk.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
7:01 on the Morning Huddle. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Like I said, I'll give away Fiesta tickets 40 after. 40 after all 3 hours, 7:40, 8:49, 40. I'm giving away some Fiesta tickets for you guys. Because, you know, this is the show for the people. Yeah. You know, we're all everymen just like you. Except Rob. Rob's pretty fancy, but like the rest of us are just everyman.
Bougie, really.
Yeah. But we want you guys to have a good time over the next couple weeks at Fiesta. I'm looking forward to some Fiesta. I can't go out every night and party. I'm not built for it.
No, you have
not
to.
Anymore.
You have to schedule appropriately.
Yeah.
You look at you plan your work and then you work your plan.
Okay. Because I have to go to Houston one weekend during Fiesta, and then I'm going to pick out
which weekend?
The 24th and 25th. I'll be in Houston.
So you were going to miss Oyster Bake.
Looks that way.
Is the 25th a Saturday?
Yeah, I believe so. No,
it's the
20th. Friday the 25th.
Yeah, Friday the 25th.
So you'll be Thursday and Friday.
Yes. No, I'll be gone Friday.
Friday,
and I'll be back Saturday night.
So you'll be back Saturday so Saturday there'll be Oyster Bake.
Okay, so I can still get in on it?
There's Taste New Orleans.
Oh, I want that too.
Oh.
I guess I'm going to have to make a choice, though, because I can't do both.
Yeah, unless you get her early and go to one and then.
What are you going to do?
I'm an Oyster Bake guy. I'll be at Oyster Bake this year.
Okay.
I did Taste New Orleans a couple years ago.
I do feel like Oyster Bake is always one of the ones I hear about. Like it's one of the more famous ones. I feel like my first year, maybe I should put it on my my list.
It's one of those things you don't want to get there too late.
Okay.
Just like any club, any bar, anywhere, you don't want to get there too late.
You know what? I'm going to do my best to get a sample of everything.
I saw on my socials the 10 rules of Fiesta. I need to dig those up. They're actually pretty funny.
There's 10 rules?
Well, I mean, just rules to survive Fiesta.
Oh, okay. No, I do need some of those. because survival, that's, it's pretty important.
How to eat and drink with several things on a stick in one hand and a beer in the other, and the little things that you kind of pick up over the years.
Yeah,
I'll find
how to still not go to jail too.
Well, there's also how to avoid fights.
That's yeah. Well, me, I'm never looking for him. Chris says AD's not trash, just one of the more injury-prone players I've ever seen. Well, that's true, but the dude's done a lot, all things considered.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, what does Herm Edwards say? The best ability is availability.
That's right.
And that's how you're defined.
Attendance is part of the grade.
Yes, it is.
Attendance is part of the grade. But right now he's there, he's healthy, and giving him a chance. Yeah, Claymore's I respect it. It's a hardcore fan thought process of like, hey, I'm cheering for my guys. I can still be pissed off at the management and still want my guys to win. I'm so bitter, I'm petty. So if my team's management is garbage, I want them to lose until those people are fired, and then they can go back to being good again, and I'll be happy for their success again.
We're such in a unique place here because, quite frankly, we really don't have a reason to have a beef with these guys.
Yet.
Yet. That's what I'm saying, yet. And it's going to be interesting to see when that yet arrives, if it arrives, because there's been excuse after reason and finally a little bit of success and then another reason and another excuse. I think we're getting to the point where...
Well, this is the first time this year is the first time where I've heard people like Spurs fans start to say, it's time to move on from Pop. Like, normally a guy who's done what Greg Popovich has done gets all the leash that he wants. He decides when he leaves. And to see that there's Spurs fans out there who are like, yeah, it's time. We need to do something new.
Yeah, there's a contingency, and absence certainly makes it easier to say that. But the world's going to be so significantly different when when that shadow is finally gone.
But also,
it won't be better. Trust me.
It does. I also believe the Spurs organizationally, they want to continue in this, not much is going to change. Whoever they're not going to bring in some complete outsider who's going to do things completely different than Pop. They're going to bring in someone who Pop thinks is going to, or who they think is going to do what Pop has been doing and just do it, the same way, but a different person.
That is the one thing you can be assured of. The plan that's in place,
the Popovich way is going to continue,
will remain. That's why the further we get down this road, as far as the replacement of Pop, the more likely it is that we stay the course.
Yeah. See, Brian says Spurs went 7 years without a championship, won one in 2014. Now we're 6 years from playoffs. Coach Pop is still the coach. We need to move on. These older fans need to move on.
That's a very difficult thing to digest. However true it feels.
It's just 6
one of
years
those
without
things.
the playoffs is a long-ass time.
Is. And it's you get to the point where you forget how to do it, how it was done. You keep trying to replicate something that for 6 years hasn't quite worked, and some of it was by design. But it's time to go find some people that have been more recently part of success.
Chris says, me too. I'll never support the Mavericks again. I don't know. It's tough, but I did this with the Rockets. I grew up a huge Rockets fan. I loved the Rockets when I was a kid, and there became a version of the Rockets that I hated so much. Ironically, it was during a time when they were having some pretty decent success, like they were going to the Western Conference Finals, but I hated their team so much that I just don't cheer for them now. I don't. I've lost the love in my heart, and it's just gone. And it's not like I've picked some new NBA team that I'm like a diehard for. I haven't, but I just don't. The fact that the Rockets are the 2 seed, and it's not even raising my pulse or getting me excited.
That's the worst case scenario. When you become, I think sometimes that love so quickly turns to hate that you actively root for their loss. The worst thing that can happen is just disinterest.
That's where I'm at.
Well, I can't imagine that being myself as a Spurs fan. I could never be disinterested. I can see myself genuinely hating them.
Yeah.
And tuning in to actively root against them for, like you said, until all the sinners are dead and gone.
But they are all gone. But
and you
James
now,
Harden's gone. Daryl Morey's gone.
They lost you.
Yeah, they lost me, man.
You know this. I think because the Houston fan, the proper fan, the Houston native, has other avenues to spend their money and their time as fans, whether it be the Texans or the Stros or maybe even U of H now.
Yeah.
It's easier to lose interest. I think the Spurs fans, if something was to occur, like the cataclysm that went up in Dallas, the hatred would be so ridiculously intense because it would be that 1 degree off of love. You'd get us back. But, man, and I think the Maverick fans are feeling this. Like, right now, if I was a Maverick fan, I would hate everything to do with them. I wouldn't want to even look at a jersey.
Yeah.
But the moment they're winning, I'm back.
Yeah.
But right now, I hate them, but I'm waiting for the win.
Yeah,
the slow degrade is the worst thing you can do.
I'm apathetic. Like, if the Rockets win a title this year, I'm happy for them, but I'm not like going to buy gear.
You could never jump back on?
I don't think so.
Dude, I just can't imagine.
It's I don't know why. I don't know why why they I don't know where the bad man touched me with the Rockets, but I just don't
Well, I think for some of us is we don't know what it's like to have a different regime. My kids don't know what it's like to not have Pop and RC and having David sitting on the sidelines. Literally, they don't have any concept of the Spurs minus what has been going on.
I think part of what happened to me with the Rockets is, and it's eventually going to happen with Spurs fan too. There are Spurs fans because there are Spurs fans who are such adamant Pop defenders, and some that are so adamant that he needs to go, that eventually there's going to be like a division in the fans where it's going to be awkward. But for me with the Rockets, like for so long, I was telling everybody who would listen, James Harden's a cancer. Like this guy is a loser. He is bad for this franchise. But all people saw was, well, we're winning basketball games. He's the scoring leader. And so I got so frustrated with the fan base too, because they wouldn't listen to me, what I was saying. That when I was eventually, when it all hashed out that I was right, that by then I'm just like, well, you guys get what you get.
For those of us that have been around a long time, there's this saying that kind of got old. When you'd see a guy, whether he was in college or on another team, you go, that guy's a Spur.
Yeah.
You just knew.
No, I know what you're talking about.
And it's aggravating and it's annoying to other teams. Like, what do you mean he's a Spur? That guy's a Spur. I don't know how you define it, but so there's always been Spurs on the Spurs. But we don't have bad guys. The baddest guy we ever had was Steven Jackson, and we loved him. He was just the crazy uncle. He's going to shoot off every now and again, and I might get mad at his players and his coach, but at the end of the day, the dude showed up for work and did his job.
Even when you had Rodman, he wasn't
well, this was prior to this.
He wasn't crazy Rodman yet.
No, he was crazy. Rodman would take off his shoes and lay down on the sideline. This was John Lucas Rodman. No, that's what I'm saying. As a guy who's watched the Spurs just be the Rockets with Dennis Rodman and Terry Cummings and this cast of disparate characters. Yeah, man, I've been there. I've seen it where you're like, this sucks. Everybody here needs to go. There's not one redeeming character on this roster. I've been there, but that's been 35 years ago.
Yeah, I've never been so frustrated with like the coach. Like I see people now with these Spurs. But the truth is, a new coach wouldn't instantly fix what's going on here.
Absolutely not. This is a battleship.
Yeah.
And no other team is more like a battleship than the Spurs. If you're going to change the paradigm of the Spurs, you're turning a battleship. It's a 4-year turn. There is no change in the atmosphere with a new coach. I don't care who you bring.
But I also understand that frustration that if it is a battleship and it's a 4-year change, well, you've already burned up 6 years.
Yes.
And now the idea of burning up 4 more, you go 10 years without being a playoff team, you are a joke franchise all of a sudden.
And this year, because of the lost momentum, because there was not a turn on the steering wheel, we lost a full rotation of the wheel we should be turning, and we didn't because we didn't have our coach, and we lost our best player, and we traded for a new point guard that played for a week. I mean, we didn't turn the wheel. We kept going the direction we're trying to get out of.
And make no mistake, no matter how many titles you have in your history, there comes a time where if you're irrelevant for long enough, you become a joke franchise.
Sacramento.
The Bulls
The Bulls.
When I was a kid, there was no franchise more like that you would look up at more to than the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls won 6 and 8 years. They were the epitome of what an NBA franchise wanted to be. The Bulls right now are a laughingstock. Like it happens. It can happen, and the Spurs are in danger of that happening.
Well, and
the Spurs are in danger of becoming a laughingstock franchise. That's scary.
Well, there's one thing to be a laughingstock, and I think you can survive being a laughingstock. You can't survive, and Spurs fans, we have this chip on our shoulder because we've always been flyover country. I'd rather you talk about us than not at all. And the thing about it, San Antonio, is if we're not winning, we're not on Sports Center.
Yeah.
We don't have highlights. We're the third, fourth team in the Southwest Division who gets a highlight every now and again because of something weird, not because of something great.
Yeah.
And that's the worst place to be.
Yeah. It's very much Sacramento.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that.
Who? Sacramento? Oh, yeah, they're playing. Did they wear their blue uniforms this year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember them.
No, you're right. That is the nightmare scenario, but it's entirely possible.
We've been there before. It's certainly possible. We've lived it.
All right. Let's when we come back, we'll switch gears. We'll talk a little football. I want to talk about some NFL draft trade possibilities. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Kinetico water softener has been around San Antonio for years and years and years. Many, many satisfied customers around the corner, around the block, around the town. And there's a reason for their long-term success because they just quite frankly work. They just, every morning you turn on your shower, you turn on your sink, you're getting the best possible water running through the pipes, taking care of all the things that you hold most dear. Your home, your people, your pets, your skin, your hair, your dishes. I could keep going. The fact of the matter is Kinetico's the best you can get. And what has kept people, I think, over the years from getting it is because you figure, well, Kinetico, if I had the money, the high-end stuff, I'd love to have it, but I'm not going to go there. I'll go down market to save some money. You don't have to do that. You can get the very best and save yourself all kinds of money, especially right now. In fact, if you want to find out what I'm talking about, for the next 90 days, you'll have a Kinetico in your house for no cost at all. You don't have to sign anything promising. They just want you to find out what I'm telling you is true. And after those 90 days, if you do decide, and you should, that this is the best thing for you, there's crazy good financing available with approved credit. There's money in your old water softener, and there's free gifts. Yeah, there's a reverse osmosis drinking station that they're going to give you, put on your sink. They got all the fancy decor to match what you got, and you'll just eliminate water bottles from your life. Fills the Stanley up perfectly well. Make sure you got the best water available 24/7. And the great thing about it is whenever you use your sink, that's the only time your Kinetico's turning on. You don't plug a Kinetico in. It doesn't have a motherboard to break. It just works. How do you get it? It's easy. Call 656-PURE right now, or you can go to KineticoSA.com to get all the details. But eventually, you're going to have to talk to those good folks over at Kinetico, so 656-PURE is the number. Call them today. Let them come out and give you a water test, find out exactly where your water is. That don't cost nothing. And then they'll put the very best thing in your house that'll take care of you. And when they do, come on by and thank me later.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
George gets justice. In an instant, a careless driver turns your life upside down. You're hurt, the bills pile up, and work stops. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, your consultation is free. No fees, no pressure, just real help. Justice starts with one call. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
If you owe money to the IRS, they'll come after you until you are flat broke. Don't just roll over and take it. The IRS has changed. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a huge break, as much as 87%. Haven't filed a return for years? It's time for Guardian Tax. Their happy clients are celebrating.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Is tax debt ruining your life? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax understands how the IRS works. Personal or business, this is the fresh start you've been praying for. You're scared of the IRS, and for good reason. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Visit GuardianTax.com or call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717.
Take advantage of pre-tariff pricing during Truck Month at North Park Chevrolet. Get 2.9% financing for 72 months on new Silverado 1500s. A new Colorado Crew Cab posted at $29,999. $5,000 off MSRP on a new Equinox. 4.8% financing for 84 months on new Tahoes and Suburbans. Together, let's drive at North Park Chevrolet. 10 minutes outside Loop 410 in Castroville or at npchevy.com.
Must qualify. Call 830-355-2107 for full price and offer details.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
Got to ask a question. Speaking of high school kids, cheese. Is that a new thing? You cheese somebody's car?
Yes.
Instead, you don't egg it, you cheese it.
Eggs have gotten too expensive. Not that cheese is cheap, but yes, it's happening.
Cheese.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Green Botanicals said this has to be the dumbest thing this guy has said. Spurs are nowhere in danger of becoming a laughingstock of anything. Check yourself, bald guy. This guy is definitely not from San Antonio. AJ, be careful.
Defense of the silver and black.
That's cool,
Dude,
man.
You're a young brother. I'll tell you,
it's right now.
Well, no,
it's
reality.
6 years, and I'm telling you this as someone who has spent time. I've been away from San Antonio, so I can tell you what. Like in Vegas, there's no local team, so you get a real kind of a feel for what the national perspective is of franchises when you're in a place where there isn't a local team. The Spurs aren't on the map. And if the Spurs hadn't won the draft lottery 2 years ago, let's say instead of the first pick, they had the third, and they got Scoot Henderson instead of Wemby, the Spurs would be the Charlotte Hornets right now.
Well, not a laughingstock, because no, they wouldn't be the Charlotte Hornets, because there is a tradition here. It's kind of the way I look at it right now is, let's pick a college that is not at its highest peak.
Indiana basketball.
No, it's been too long for that. A recent champ that's just kind of disappeared, that the framework is there, and eventually it'll turn around. There's not a good example there. The difference between the Spurs and every other team that has been this bad is the Spurs have been lucky enough to ride under the shadow of Pop. Pop is the ultimate trump card for Spurs fans, because by every measure, by everybody you talk to, unless you were related to to Phil, or you're related to Pat Riley, or whoever you choose as your favorite coach of all time, that guy's still here. It's like having John Wooden or the other ones. It's just a matter of time because we know that guy can do it. So everybody's waiting. You're not talking about us, but you're not a laughing stock. You're just like, well, if Pop gets his dudes. Charlotte, New Orleans, and some of those teams are just jokes because they draft poorly.
But there's no other franchise, Rob, that even when you've had the success that Pop has, once you go through this long of a stretch of utter failure, that guy still is around.
Well, you're right. And the 6 years of utter failure I'd quantify into really 2 years of absolute disgrace. One was full-on attempt at tanking. They did their job. The Josh Primo year was a damned disgrace. I mean, that was the kind of thing that gets a lot of coaches and general managers and team presidents fired. I mean, you drafted the wrong dude, and on top of that, everything else sucked too. So that was the pivot point. From that point on, things could have gotten terrible, and they righted the ship. They leveled off. They won some games, and then they lost appropriately. But you're right. If in the next 3 years this doesn't work out, whether your fault, my fault, nobody's fault, Sacramento's not a laughing stock. They're an afterthought.
They're not.
We're not going to be a laughing stock. That would be the benefit. At least you're losing every game and you're in it again. Or you're Sacramento and you're winning 38 games a year and you're just bad enough to get the 9th pick.
But
that's the place that you want to avoid at all costs. And that's where they're sliding to.
You don't want to be the team who keeps the legend around for too long because he did this back in the day, and you can't fire him because he's a legend, Bobby Bowden or something like that, and let your program be Tom Osborne. You don't want to become Nebraska football.
We're years from that, and that would never happen. That won't happen with Pop. I mean, he could lose for the next 3 years.
Though, if you said once you move on from Pop, it's a 4-year change. If it takes 4 years after Pop's gone, now it's like, what are you?
Well, if you move on and move outside of the program, you're looking at a fundamental franchise shift, which I don't think they're going to do. I think that by their very nature, Manu Ginobili will be a coach of the Spurs before Jay Wright, Taylor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not going to leave the tree. It's just about how far and how old a branch are we going to go with, because the plan is in place. The process is moving. Now it's been delayed. They're not going to alter that. It's just a matter of how far down the tree are we going? Are we going to OG, or are we going to somebody who just kind of passed through a couple of years ago? But there will be a relationship in place.
AJ, you're in my city. LOL, you don't want to get laughingstock chased out of my city to an old baby San Antonio Spurs. Better recognize, AJ, where you're at. Green, I can't tell if you're trying to bully me or intimidate me. I'm just telling you what people think right now. When any franchise who's missed the playoffs for 6 straight years, nobody's looking at them as a proud franchise. They just don't. And if you're not accepting of that, that's on you, Bubba. I get it. I understand still being a Spurs fan. I'm not saying you should turn your back on these guys. I'm just saying if this isn't a playoff team next year, and they're still riding with Greg Popovich or Mitch Johnson for that matter, a Greg Popovich disciple, and there's no change, you can turn into Nebraska football real fast.
Easily. It's I've seen it happen before.
And Ren says his Charlotte won 5 rings. No, the Bulls have, and the Bulls are now they are not a proud franchise right now. Remember we talked about the there was some ranking of the 30 worst, or 1 through 30, how good is an NBA franchise. The Bulls were dead last.
And the problem that we have at San Antonio, Chicago can turn on a dime because it is still Chicago. They've still got the market draw. They still have the legend. Not that San Antonio doesn't, but it's still, when you list the top destinations for free agency, San Antonio isn't there. It never will be unless they're winning. And when they're winning, even then, it's a difficult sell. We've only brought in, let's be real, one great free agent. In my long and illustrious career with the Spurs, LaMarcus is the best free agent to ever arrive. And he was just meh for the most part. I mean, it's just, there's things in play that as a San Antonio Spur fan that are just out of our control. We are always going to be the third city in Texas. We're always going to be the team that had Pop and was that until we're something else, but there's not going to be the draw until this Texaplex, as we're calling it, until Texas or San Antonio and Austin kind of finally grow together like Dallas and Fort Worth did in the next 20 years. Then we become the market that's really cool because Austin is enough of a draw to become suddenly a cool place to live. We still aren't attached to them yet, though the Spurs are doing everything they can to attach themselves.
Rin says the Lakers are a proud franchise even after the drought. Knicks are a proud franchise. They haven't won since the 70s, but to compare us to Charlotte, I'm not comparing you to Charlotte. What I'm saying is, and first of all, the Lakers and the Knicks are two very different things. If the Knicks weren't in New York City, the Knicks would be they're a joke. The Knicks aren't a proud franchise. The Knicks just happen to be in New York City.
I think we need to define our terms here. There's nothing. If you're a laughing stock, you're still being talked about, even though
and that's the Knicks.
Your relevance.
The Knicks will always be talked about because they're in New York.
Right. San Antonio will be just forgotten. They're just who? Where? You become Utah. You become Sacramento. Charlotte's a laughing stock.
I wasn't talking about Charlotte and that's what you are. I'm just talking about Charlotte as a nothing franchise that nobody gives a damn about.
And I would much rather be laughed at. At least we're newsworthy. The worst case is the news drought. And as the guys in the media, when the beginning of this season, when Wemby and the expectations and Rookie of the Year and all this, there are guys that I saw at Spurs games this year in the first couple of weeks that I hadn't seen in 5 years. Media that just stopped coming. There was no need to come. And that's the worst thing to be.
Yeah.
And that's the fear that you fall into that. Yeah, they've always been in the playoffs. They've always been close, but they're boring and they're out in a round or two, and there's nothing there but the river and a brief playoff stop where you can get some churros and make fun of the fat women. I mean, that's who San Antonio will become, and that's the utter nightmare.
Yeah.
And Wemby will play a role in that more than anything else over the next 4 years. It won't be the other coach. It won't be anything else. It's Wemby's growth. As long as he is sustaining, then we are the market that we want to be.
See, and now they're saying, no, you did compare him to Charlotte. No, I'm saying you can turn into Charlotte.
We've been Charlotte.
And what I'm saying is if you would not have gotten Wemby, people would talk about the Spurs as much as they talk about Charlotte, which is they don't. So if the Spurs had gotten Scoot Henderson instead of Wemby, do you think the Spurs would ever be on SportsCenter?
No.
You would be Charlotte, a franchise that no one talks about.
Well, again, once Pop leaves, you become Charlotte.
No,
we still live under the masthead of immediate expectation of return. You just look
do you
at
think if
Pop
Wemby wasn't here, people would still talk about the Spurs on a national level?
I think we would be in the run for. No, we would be talked about it in the tank for Cooper Flag, and because the thought process is Cooper lands in Washington. It doesn't matter. They're still going to suck. If I'm Cooper, why would I go to Washington? I'll stay at Duke. Cooper comes out and he looks at San Antonio, even though they're essentially the same roster.
Yeah.
They got Pop. So Cooper goes, well, at least I'm playing with Pop, and all I know is he will get me there, and I know he has a history of getting other guys to get there. So I'm much more comfortable landing in San Antonio because of Pop. Once Pop leaves, we become Washington. We become Carolina. We become the suck teams that there's no redeeming quality. At least now we have, if you come here, you will play for the greatest coach in many people's eyes in any organized sport of all time. So
I believe right now the draw for the Spurs is Wemby, no longer Popovich.
Absolutely. And that was the intent. That was the process that was in place. Was I'll get Wemby. I'll coach him up for 2 years. He'll be ready to go. Whoever takes over will have an easy landing pad. Just carry on, brother. Well, that's where we went wrong.
I also firmly believe this. If the Spurs had gotten the third pick 2 years ago and had Scoot Henderson or Bilal Coulibaly instead of Wemby, Pop wouldn't be here.
Oh, he'd have retired of his own volition. Yes, it extended his career. So, yes, we would have been in a very different boat. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. As long as Pop is here, or now Wemby, who has taken the mantle, we are not flyover country. But the moment we lose them both, we become New Orleans, we become Charlotte, we become Sacramento, we become Memphis once Ja leaves. You just become the town that is fodder.
Unless you are winning.
Yes, for the big markets. And, every year, 2 of those teams get their shot at winning. But you just can't sustain because you don't have the legacy franchise thing. Like, the Lakers are always going to get talent. They're always going to get it. It's the Lakers. They're just going to get it.
John says they said the same thing about UT when they sucked for 10 years. Calm down. The difference is the University of Texas is like the most powerful brand in college football.
Well,
or them or Notre Dame. Like
the transient nature of college sports, too.
Yeah, but the difference is it's like the Lakers brand or the Celtics brand. Like the Spurs aren't that. Even though they've had that success, they aren't that.
Well, their Pop is. Spurs aren't.
I think, but you know what? That the Pop thing, I think you would even agree. There's an expiration date on that. If it hasn't come, it's fastly approaching.
Well, it hasn't come, and because as long as he's on the sidelines, there's their perception, either if it's real or not, true or not to this point, that all Pop needs is a couple of parts. He will keep his end of the bargain. He will coach you and do everything necessary to win a title, where you can only say that probably about 4 coaches in the NBA. And the other 26, you go, well, you're going to need players and some breaks. But when you look at what Spoelstra did last night and you look at the great ones, you go, all that dude needs is a piece and a part, and he'll be fine. Not a lot of coaches can say that, and you know that the Spurs can turn on a dime as long as he's here. Now he's basically gone, so the next draw is Wemby.
Green says, we don't expect our local sports radio to be disrespecting our home team, San Antonio Spurs. Guys, the process on. Sky's the limit. Go Spurs, go. That is the most small market thing you can ever say.
That's a Dallas Cowboy
if you don't want the local radio guys to criticize your home team, then you're living. You want to be in a secure bubble where everybody tells you nice things, dude. You're just setting yourself up to foster a losing culture. Like if you can't take a look in the mirror and say
the truth hurts, man.
6 years in a row without the playoffs, this isn't ideal. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like that's delusion.
Well, I mean, there has been the reprieve of Wemby. So it's been futile for 6, but the fact of the matter is that 4-year decline finished with Wemby. So you can justify what happened. You can. So in your mind as a Spur fan, justify it, and you can. But there is nobody bleeds silver black deeper than me. But I have also been here when Bob Hill was here, and we won 50 games. It was fun, but there was no party at the end of the season.
Right.
I was here when Stan Albeck was here, when we had legitimate opportunities, but it was never going to work. I was here when John Lucas brought in a cast of characters. It was a circus. I've seen what it's like to be a bad and irrelevant team. We're not there yet, but we leveled off. We leveled off. We're not sliding like we were, but you can slip off that cliff so fast.
And the expectation was this year you wouldn't be in the discussion for it anymore.
And again, part of this was, as a Spur fan, you have every excuse. The greatest coach we had. We did and thrombosis and trade but the fact of the matter, as AJ said, where the money guys are, when people look at it without the tinge of fandom, when it's all dollars and cents or plus minus, the Spurs are an afterthought. And until they're not, they'll continue to slide into even worse of an oblivion. That's just how the world works.
All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll give away some tickets to the Oyster Bake. It is the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports. So I got to tell you guys about Carbach. Carbach Brewing, born in Houston, but, man, they made it a priority to get to San Antonio as soon as possible. Eric, the brewmaster there, said, hey, when we first decided to take our beer outside of Houston, the first market we wanted to be in was San Antonio, and they have put their beer all over San Antonio, Texas. Of course, it's in all the grocery stores and the liquor stores, but it's in all kinds of bars and restaurants as well, a surprising amount. So if you're thinking, it's just hard to find, it's really not, friends. It really is all over the city, and they've got something for everybody's taste. You want something simple, you want something crisp, refreshing, Love Street's the way to go. It's their best seller, the Cole Style Blonde Ale. If you like something a little more flavorful, packs a little more of a punch, the Hopadillo. And right now, the Hopadillo Imperial is out. That is 9.9% ABV. That is a kick in the teeth, a flavor bomb, if you will. And of course, to me, Crawford Bock is the perfect year-round beer. Perfect for when it's hot. Perfect for when there's a little chill in the air. Just a great everyday drinker. Something for everyone in their lineup, though. So make sure you try it out if you haven't yet. When you're out and about this weekend, ask your bartender to please make it a Carbach.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Your commute starting to fill in. 90 eastbound, slowing down 211 to 410, almost a 20-minute ride. 35 southbound angle on down to Padbuga Road. That's starting to slow down. We do have a stall at 1604 eastbound Babcock that's now off to the left shoulder. And a minor accident, Loop 410 northbound at Ingram, right shoulder blocked. A little bit of a delay from right around Culebra. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Injury Attorneys, available 24/7.
Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and respect. A firm backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients. If you've been injured, trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Texas.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text KING to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KING to 321-321. That's KING to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat $1 billion insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, $1 billion insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's gonna audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-770-2727. 800-770-2727.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Group. It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are officially 1 week away from the NFL draft. That's going to be fun.
We'll talk about it with John McClain and when he joins us at 5:15.
And the NBA play-in. We know who is going to play for the 8 seeds now. We'll talk about that.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The NFL lives right here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right, let's start off by giving away tickets to Oyster Bake. Let's go with it's April 25th or April 26th over at St. Mary's. Let's go with caller number 5. You'll win tickets to Oyster Bake. At 8:40, we'll give away a pair of tickets to Alamo Heights Night, April 25th at Incarnate Word. Couple things. Like Michael says, AJ be attacking the Spurs in San Antonio. It's like attacking breakfast tacos from the town taqueria. Blasphemous. I'm not attacking the Spurs. All I'm doing is just telling you what the perspective of outsiders is. And again, I understand when there's a difference between wanting your team to succeed and them succeeding. The Spurs almost feel right now like the Chicago Cubs, like where even for a million years the Cubs weren't winning, but people didn't care because they were like, we love the Cubs no matter what. I don't want it to become that. I want the organization to feel pressure from the fan base to hey, we expect more than this. But if you're afraid to be honest with yourself about where the franchise is right now, and stop worrying about counting rings that happened a decade ago, that's the only way to really kind of have change. And Bill Belichick is a great example. Bill Belichick is in the same stratosphere as Pop in terms of a head coach. Bill Belichick's looked at as the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. He didn't get this much time.
No, he didn't. And there was the debate about, was it him or the quarterback? And Pop survived that because he had David, and then he got Tim, and continued just long enough, and then got Wemby. So we really don't know what Pop's life would truly be for a series of years, no injuries. These are just your guys. What it would be. He hadn't been defined like that.
You will hate hearing this. I think if the Spurs had never gotten Kawhi, the run would have ended and Pop might be gone by now.
Oh, you know what? There's a lot that think the other way, that if Kawhi would have never gotten here, we would have been better off.
Oh, really?
That the conviction and the
You don't think they would have won that last title were it not for Kawhi,
I will tell you this. He lost the first one that we had to come back
and that's
from.
Fair.
That was Kawhi that lost that with the free throws. Now, we wouldn't have been there but for him. But right. I would say that because the Kawhi plan was derailed so quickly, that it did set the Spurs back by about 6 years.
Oh, it did.
So if you factor in the
Kawhi
minus
was a real
6,
gift and a curse
yes,
because
exactly.
He extended the run and then he started the collapse.
So if you subtract the Kawhi absence and exit and all that, we're probably about where we would have been, right about on the rebuild, because he did derail this franchise. There were plans in place in 2016 for a nice long run.
But he also extended the run that would have probably been over were it not for him.
And the other part of that was, physically, I don't think, even if he'd have stayed, he would have been capable of doing what we would have hoped for.
Yeah.
Because I think the Clippers dealt with that he just physically was not what they thought he was going to be.
I don't know what the answer is when it comes to Pop. I'm not one who's
Nobody's been here before.
I'm not banging the table one way or the other like they need to fire him or they should never fire him. I'm not deep enough in the mix to really know.
But it's a conversation. Unfortunately, I'm in a circumstance right now where some very difficult conversations were not had. And if you don't have the difficult conversation, the next one is going to be so much worse and so much more difficult. And this kind of difficult conversation has been had behind closed doors, I assume. That, the process and the plan for Pop and whether this and that. But if you let it linger, it gets bad. It does. And the difficult conversation is, with Pop gone, who are we? And who are we going to be?
There is no more difficult conversation to have than a guy who's brought you historic success and telling him you're not doing it the way you used to. Like the conversation they had to have with Mac Brown in 2013 in Austin was like Mac Brown still thought there was a world where he was going to turn Texas around and they were going to start winning again, and at least to the point I say winning, they were winning 8 or 9 games, but winning national titles. And Mac believed it was coming, but finally it took the administration going, it's just not coming. Well, and those are real hard discussions.
The most difficult thing to deal with, and I see this a lot, it's not so much what you're doing. It's just that what you're doing no longer matches the the newest situation. Yeah. You're doing everything you always did, but the world has changed. The teams have changed. The idea of how the game is played has changed. The rules have changed. The attitude of the players has changed. You're still your perfectly wonderful, perfect self, but the world has changed to a point where you can't keep up. And that happens to everybody. That's just how the world works. And those very few that can linger on as long as Pop had, that's a man bites dog story. That's not common. He's been able to reinvent how he's coached more than once, probably 3 times now. You know, from the way he adjusted to Tim after David and convincing one's a power forward and one's a center. The way that he convinced, we'll get into some other stuff, but the way that he was able to kind of adopt to the 3-point shooting, and the way that over the last couple of years, he didn't go pop and just yank a rookie off the court and let him just sit and stew for a game or two like he used to. He let these guys continue to play through mistakes where we always got mad at him for that. So he has been able to evolve, but even as much as an old dog can learn a new trick, there's tricks that you're just not capable of learning.
Well, and the other thing is it's always careful what you wish for, because the nightmare situation is you finally tell Mac Brown to beat feet, and Charlie Strong comes in.
Well, that's the next step.
Don't want the you always say it. You don't want to be the guy after the guy who takes his job after Pop. Oh man, it's going to be a crazy amount of pressure. I will say, while I don't feel like I know enough to know if Pop should still be coaching this team or not, I do feel like I know enough to know that Mitch Johnson should not be looked at as the long-term answer. And it seems like the Spurs are kind of leaning that way anyway, which is not ideal, I don't think. I think saying Mitch is going to be our coach because that was the plan all along, I think you still have to be able to adjust your plan.
I think that you're very right. And I can't imagine a change in doctrine. I can't imagine a change in plan because that's in place. So whoever's going to do that will have to be at least part of the Spurs tree. I think we all know that it probably should not be Mitch. But if he has earned the right to stay around for falling on the sword for being the next guy, just being in the room when it happened, that maybe you protect him and keep him around and bring in somebody of merit that really has a longer-term plan.
Michael is absolutely right. I think the respect for Pop is truly showing. They're trying to convince him to retire so they don't have to fire him. Nobody wants to fire a guy like Greg Popovich.
Well, he won't get fired.
I don't think he will either.
No,
But there are going to be guys who kind of like nudge him in the direction of like, hey man, you think think about just sitting up on that sitting with your feet propped up on the on that lake and doing whatever you want to do. Go back to drinking wine, all that, whatever you're into. Sure would be a lot easier life, right?
I think what it'll come down to, honestly, it will be a doctor saying,
I think that's what it is too.
You can't.
A medical, like saying you can't fly.
Or like I can't, your life insurance won't insure you, brother.
Yeah. You can't take 80 flights a year.
That won't. Your premiums are going to go to $5,000 a month if you want to carry this, because I cannot sign off on this.
And putting Pop in the front office, no one would bat an eye at that. Like, let him make a bunch of big decisions. Like, and let him stay. Like, you've still got a role here. It's just not
every former Spurs seems to have a role. I mean, we still have Manu walking around. Tim was in the. I mean,
there came a time
not going anywhere, but
there came a time where Pat Riley was not the best answer on the sidelines for the Miami Heat.
Times changed,
but Pat Riley is still a major part of the Miami Heat organization, and a valuable part. And is he a better coach historically than Eric Spoelstra? Probably. I mean, he's certainly got more skins on the wall.
The only problem,
but is Eric Spoelstra a better answer for the Heat right now? 100%.
The problem is, Riley had a place to go. He could assume the general. Buford's already kind of in the spot where Pop would go, so
Yeah.
you have to almost create another coach emeritus position and then have a coach that is perfectly willing and accepting of the legend showing up at your practice every now and again. Sometimes you don't want that shadow in the building while you're there, but you're going to have to find somebody that will accept that.
It is tough conversations for sure. J-Rod says, AJ, you're not wrong, but you're playing with fire. I know. I have a hard time lying to myself about what's going on. And it's not that I want the Spurs to fail. I want the Spurs to succeed. My job's a lot more fun if we're here talking about the Spurs in the playoffs right now.
But you start digging into very deep wounds for San Antonio. These are some very deep. It's not. You never want to be thought of as the little brother, ever, in anything. You never want to be thought of as insignificant. I'd rather be hated. I'd rather be mocked than thought of as insignificant and flyover. And that's always been the one thing about the Spurs was you can talk about us outside. You can say whatever you want, but talk about us.
Yeah.
Don't act like we don't exist. And that comes to just this very deep-seated Spurs thing that when we did finally win, we became relevant.
Yes.
And we had never been relevant. So that's the worst case
scenario. But aren't you also terrified of losing that?
Yes. Being irrelevant is the worst thing to be.
Yeah.
In any circumstance. I'd rather be mocked than just never be thought of.
All right. Halfway there, living on a prayer on a small Friday. Well, I promised NFL. I guess we'll get into we've been derailed. We'll get into NFL in the 8 o'clock hour. Morning Huddle 94.1.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Rocket. Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com, a single seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, even refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things home ownership. Rocket, own the dream.
Hey, listen up, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, long nights monitoring cyber activity, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training. We call that credit where credit is due. Whether you're active duty and looking at what's next, or a veteran looking for something new, our degrees and certificate programs teach the application of emerging technologies and enduring life skills. So get started on a degree or certificate with personalized local support services and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee through May 30th. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Tragically, recent data reveals that 40% of women in Texas will experience intimate partner violence. Christie's Hope is dedicated to breaking the cycle of domestic violence by providing shelter, healing, and counseling, and empowering survivors to take their first steps towards lasting safety and independence. Thomas J. Henry stands with us in our commitment to end domestic violence. Donate today at christieshope.org.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SOUND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Come on in to Total Wine & More. Prices much lower than a grocery store. Wine, beer for a whole lot less. Walking down the aisles makes you stop and say, yes! From mixing cocktails to a friendly get-together, Total Wine has everything you need, and more. With the lowest prices and best selection for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Pretty much most all our major freeway systems are starting to fill in and slow down. 281 southbound sluggish Stone Oak Parkway on down to San Pedro. 90 eastbound 211 to 410, 17-minute ride. Also noticing delays along 410 northbound from South WW White up to 35. And 35 southbound Angle on down to Pat Booker Road, rolling slowly. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA play-in continued last night as the Miami Heat sent the Chicago Bulls home. 109-90 the final score. Miami's moving on to take on Atlanta tomorrow for the 8th seed. The Mavs, led by Anthony Davis's 27, took care of Sacramento's season. The final 120-106 over the Kings. The Mavs moving on to take on the Grizzlies. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Jose says, even when the Spurs were on top of the NBA, we still didn't get any recognition, all because Spurs are in a small market and or don't have a loud mouth. Look at me, superstar. I don't know. I feel like this. I don't think that's true. I think when the Spurs were on top of the world, they were looked at as the best run franchise in sports.
Yes.
And that's like
commonly voted that way from
everybody I think
involved.
the Nash, like, I don't know. I think sometimes San Antonio gets this the mindset of nobody's respecting us. Like, nobody's respecting us when you are getting respect, and then when you're not getting respect, it's don't disrespect us. Like it's a weird dichotomy. But I do think when the Spurs were winning, there was no doubt like people respected the way the Spurs organization was run. And you're right. They weren't going to be talked about like the Lakers or the Spurs could win the title every year and they wouldn't be the Lakers. No. That's just the reality of where we live on the map. But it certainly was like the Spurs weren't underappreciated as an organization.
I think we were respected.
Absolutely.
We weren't promoted. We weren't even when we were winning championships, we weren't the first team talked about. It was Kobe and Shaq. And the stars were brought up before the Spurs.
And he's right in that the Spurs stars were not the guys who were,
like I said,
who kids wanted to buy their jerseys.
Like I said, as we watch over the years, as a Spurs fan and a guy that's in the media, I'd go around the country and I'd talk to other people and I'd say, that guy's a Spur, and we were made fun of. Like, yeah, you mean boring. Yeah, that guy's a Spur. He comes to work, he does his job, doesn't ask for anything more, does more than ask for, and just, does what he does. And, also was willing to take a little bit less money and work in the shadows. That's a Spur. And now it's kind of a joke. Well, your Spurs are boring. I mean, it was fine when you were winning, but a boring Spur team is just average bad basketball. So we can't rely on what was our greatest prideful part about the Spurs is we just come to work. Yeah. Well, that's boring. You better be winning.
But I don't know. I don't think that they were under or disrespected or what. You're right. They weren't talked about as much because they didn't have not that they didn't have a superstar. They didn't have a promotable superstar.
Well, we had a superstar who didn't want to be promoted.
Right. You had a guy who never talked. Before that, you had a guy who didn't cuss and didn't drink and wasn't relatable to people. Like, the Spurs have had a hard time with relatable superstars.
Well, but with David, got to remember David was such a perfect fit for San Antonio because he brought that military bearing, and because of that, we didn't care because the military can promote themselves; they're just going to go win. But people forget that David made a lot of money wearing Nikes and selling razors. David was a very marketable dude and took advantage of it. He sold a lot of shoes and a lot of different products nationwide, 5 times as much as Tim ever did. Tim had no interest in it. David was portrayed as, the Little Mermaid, the happy, well-informed, intelligent military man in San Antonio, and leveraged that, sold a lot of shoes, sold a lot of stuff.
What the Spurs have pretty much always lacked is a superstar who was marketable to 18 to 25-year-olds. Like the guys who this is a guy who I
wouldn't say always. Ice was that. Ice was the street dude that got buckets.
You're right.
But we didn't win then.
I mean, in the pop era is what I mean.
And those aren't Spurs.
You're right.
We don't draft those guys because they're not Spurs.
But that's why they don't get the marketing push or the national push that some of these other teams get because they have because that's what the NBA is trying to sell to. The NBA is like, hey, we want to keep our game young. We want young people involved. And the Spurs, even today, the most marketable guy on their team is a French guy. It's not.
The joke or the conversation back in the heyday was if Pop had the opportunity to draft a 10-year, 10-point game, 8-point, 8-rebound yeoman starting NBA player or Ja Morant, who would he draft?
Oh, he would probably draft the yeoman. Yeah.
And, in his heyday, you'd go, oh, yeah, okay, yes, that's a good idea.
Because you believe in the process of it.
Today, you go, dude, what are you talking about?
You have to take the star.
You got to take the star. And that's the issue with Pop is still always going to do what he did. He's not going to change, but the world has changed. And you got to draft the Jaws now. You got to. You can't not. Yeah. And that kind of idea is what will be, in the end, when he finally does leave. But that's going to be the primary contributing part of this, more so than the sickness, more so than the development of Wemby or anything else like that. The world has changed.
Yeah. And whether or not you believe it's passed him by or whatever, that's for someone else to say.
I mean, he's been more than willing to adapt, but you can only adapt so much. Yeah. I mean, that old dog new tricks thing is true to an extent. There's just so much you can change about yourself.
Yep. Well, we'll see. We'll see if they right the battleship, as you call it. If it just takes a little turn, or we have to spin this thing all the way around, do a 180. I don't know. But I'm interested. I think this offseason is going to tell us a lot, and the decisions that they make about the head coaching is where it all starts.
And no pressure yet. We're not leaning on you, San Antonio, to give us a direction, but you got till, I'd say, May 1st. You got about a month.
Yeah.
We're going to really need to have an idea, not just for fandom, but because of the new building because of so much other stuff.
There's a lot riding on things right now.
We need to have some kind of firm footing to kind of catapult ourselves into it, and we need a face to kind of guide the next in Wemby, and it's going to have to be the coach that's there, and Pop just isn't going to be the guy.
All right, I want to move on to football for a bit. There's a story about Field Yates did this. He did a list of teams that could trade up or trade down in round one of the draft, based basically on their needs, on the history of their franchise, the willingness to trade up or trade down. We heard yesterday, they were talking about Jerry Jones saying, we're not looking to trade up.
Steven said, we're not looking to trade up, but we could go another direction.
We could go another direction, which, I mean...
We're going to draft a Maverick.
I'm not sure what that could mean other than they would consider trading down.
That's exactly what he meant.
But I guess that's looked at as negative if you say it. Like it's looked like fans
I don't know why he parsed that. I don't think anybody would be upset with you if you traded down for more picks.
I don't think fans like hearing that, though. Fans want the shiny thing.
That's why the Cowboy fan is a Cowboy fan.
that is true. So he says, here's the list of teams that could trade up in round one. The first one he lists is the San Francisco 49ers. And he Hawkins back to the time when they moved. I mean, in 2021, they moved up 9 spots and took Trey Lance, which was, in hindsight, it's to the credit of the San Francisco 49ers that was not a franchise-killing move. Because any other team that did that would be in real danger of like...
Thank God for Mr. Irrelevant.
Thank God for Kyle Shanahan being able to turn chicken bleep into chicken salad, generally. But the thought is that if Colorado quarterback... and the Niners are picked at 11. They've got the 11th pick right now. It says, if Shedeur Sanders goes third overall to the Giants, the chain reaction would likely include the Patriots taking Abdul Carter...
Right.
Or Travis Hunter, which means that the top 2 tackles, Will Campbell and Armand Membu, could reach the 8th pick of the draft. And if that were the case, the 49ers would have to consider leapfrogging the Bears to get one, because the Bears are trying to draft offensive line too. And it says the 49ers have a lot of needs, a lot of holes to fill throughout the draft, but they also have 11 picks to work with, which is the most of anybody. 11 picks for the 49ers. The next team he mentions is the Houston Texans. And it says the Texans could certainly line up tomorrow along the offensive line with their updated depth chart, but it feels like the long-term vision is still a work in progress. Remember, Laramie Tunsil out, Kenyon Green out, Shaq Mason out. They allowed 54 sacks last year, third most in the league. There are lots of teams in their range. The Texans currently slotted at 25. Teams... Cardinals, Bengals, Seahawks, Chargers, Vikings, all picking between 16 and 24, would like to get offensive line help. So the Texans, who have 7 picks this year, says could jump ahead and try to get one of those. And the Texans, as we know, remember the year they picked 1 and 2. Everyone was like, how could they possibly do that? They traded up to get Will Anderson, and the Texans were rewarded for that.
Part of me feels like, don't screw with it, Texas. You're working your plan. Everything's okay. You've gotten better. I mean, last year your record didn't reflect it, but I do think that the guys that needed to get better did. Why jack around and trade around when you've got 7 picks? You've proven over the last couple of years that you're drafting appropriately. The guys you've liked have worked out. I don't know if at this stage of the franchise you need to go nuts.
I don't know. I will say this, and that this goes for the 49ers and the Texans. If you're trading up for the right thing, it makes sense.
Only then.
Don't trade up for a shiny toy. If it does, I say this all the time, it's very difficult to find legit offensive linemen after the second round. If you want offensive linemen, you got to get them pretty early.
Yeah, there's just not enough.
Especially tackles. Yeah. You're not going to get a starting NFL tackle in round 5 generally. It doesn't. It rarely. I shouldn't say it doesn't ever happen. It rarely happens.
Well, especially those. I mean, you can find a right tackle, you can find a right guard with a right-handed quarterback, but the left tackles and the left guards, there's only 30 of them in the world, and you better get them. Yeah.
Actually, there's about 20 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't have them, I get the search. But I just feel like you're a franchise who's actually your plans are working. I don't know if you really want to mess around with sustained growth and success. I get it. If there's an opportunity out there, make it. But of all the teams out there that don't really need to do it, they're one of them in my mind. Don't screw up what's working for you.
The Buffalo Bills, who right now are slotted at 30, and it says Buffalo's list of needs is short in comparison to almost every other NFL team. It has one of the league's more elite rosters, but the Bills do need help at cornerback. They allowed the NFL's fifth worst completion percentage last year, 68.5%. Rasul Douglas is still unsigned, and there's a question mark opposite Christian Benford. Injuries to Siobhan Revel from East Carolina and Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame. It says there may not be as much cornerback action in the first round, which means Buffalo could be motivated to move up in a number of different ways for one of the top players at the position. It would take a major move to go get a guy like Will Johnson, who's looked at as a top 5 or 6 player. I can't really picture Buffalo doing that.
All right, Bills. Okay, if you can't.
Jahdae Barron would require sliding into the teens. Maxwell Harris in the 20s. And Ole Miss's Trey Amos would take a few spots. But Brandon Beane has proven he will trade up in the draft. He's traded up 4 times in the first round since he's been in Buffalo, so he does it. But he's also traded back a bunch of times, too.
How desperate are you for a cornerback?
They need secondary help bad. I think it's the difference between them being I don't think they can beat the Chiefs with what they've got at corner.
Okay, with that in mind, do they have the wherewithal to draft 2 cornerbacks? I mean, can they?
Because
they're going to be drafting late. They're going to have to kind of crapshoot this. Or are they willing to go spend some money?
I won't be surprised if the Bills, if you said of their first 5 draft picks, I would bet 4 of them are on defense, and I bet at least 2 of those are in the secondary.
And if that's the case, I just feel like Buffalo kind of needs to really be all in on this.
They can go for it, right?
Yeah, I think that they really need to kind of, if we need a quarterback, whatever it takes kind of thing, because you're in prime real estate right now. It's not going to get any better for Buffalo than it is right now.
Then he talks about teams that could trade back into round 1. And the teams that are going to consider trading back into round 1, and when I say trading back, I mean use their first round pick and then package their second rounder and usually another first rounder to move back into the first round and take a second first round pick. And the 2 teams he lists, I think, are both very likely because I think both of them are having real questions. They both need a quarterback, and they're both having real questions about whether they should draft one in round 1. And that is the Browns and the Giants. They have the Browns have the first pick in the second round. The Giants have the second pick in the second round. Mm-hmm. And if they take a quarterback at number 2 or number 3, everyone is going to go, boy, that sure feels like a reach. Or they can take the best player available on the board there.
Yeah, that's the bold.
Then move back into the first round and take a Jackson Dart or a Jalen Milroe or one of these types of players.
Do you rely on the kindness of strangers very often?
I think it's a poor strategy.
Yeah, I mean you're hoping for some things to roll your way, and if you're an unlucky franchise, how often does that happen? We'll get the best, and there'll be a quarterback later. Normally in my fantasy league, that rush happens right after I draft. I'll get a quarterback in the 3rd round. By the time it comes back to me, there ain't nothing left. So that's risky thinking for a franchise that's in great peril. So I'm not sure if they can wait. Is what I'm saying.
But also,
would you be? I'd rather be yelled at for overdrafting the quarterback.
Not me.
Not there. Not them.
No.
You don't think so?
I would rather take a chance moving up and getting Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe than using the second pick in the draft on Shedeur Sanders.
But okay, I would say this: I wouldn't leave the first round without a quarterback. I might trade down a little bit further.
Okay,
I wouldn't leave the first round.
But then the thing about trading down means you also don't get that.
I'd rather overdraft at 30 instead of 36. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll go back to 30, and maybe he's a second rounder, and I took him at 30. It's not that big a deal, and I get him for another year. Then I'd rather overdraft at 12.
Jose says Buffalo will move up to give the pick to Kansas City. That's probably what they'll do. I'll just kill myself. No big deal. Teams that could trade down in round 1. Actually, let's do this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look at some of those teams that could trade down in round 1. including a couple of NFC South teams, including a team that we've talked about as a quarterback contender. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's time for the herd you love. It's time for professional spring football. The San Antonio Brahmas are back, bringing you more of the action, the celebration, and the unforgettable moments you love. Join us for our home opener Sunday, April 27th at 2 when the Brahmas bring the Fiesta to the gridiron with our Viva Fiesta, Viva Brahmas themed game. Bring the energy to the Alamo Dome as your San Antonio Brahmas take on the Houston Roughnecks. Tickets on sale now at UFLbrahmas.com. That's UFLbrahmas.com. Our town, our team, our herd.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Texting to drive? Oh, I'm terrible about that.
I'm the worst.
Wait, I gotta finish this text. Hold on.
Caitlyn Jenner killed somebody 6 years ago. They said she was texting.
So what happened to her?
She got out. Caitlyn Jenner.
The balls on that gal.
That's not the promo of the week.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's gonna audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
Exclusive sponsor of Fiesta San Antonio, Gomez Law Firm encourages you to enjoy Fiesta responsibly. For more than 50 years, attorney Joe A. Gomez has been helping victims seriously injured in car and trucking accidents. If you've been injured in a car or trucking accident, hire personal injury attorney Joe Gomez. Born and raised right here in San Antonio. Visit joegomezlaw.com or call 210-736-4040 for a free consultation. Gomez Law fights. Gomez Law cares. Viva Fiesta.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
If you owe money to the IRS, they'll come after you until you are flat broke. Don't just roll over and take it. The IRS has changed. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a huge break, as much as 87%. Haven't filed a return for years? It's time for Guardian Tax. Their happy clients are celebrating.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Is tax debt ruining your life? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax understands how the IRS works. Personal or business, this is the fresh start you've been praying for. You're scared of the IRS, and for good reason. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Visit GuardianTax.com or call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717.
Any professional landscaper will tell you, spring is their favorite time of year. Not just because business ramps up, but also because of Gravely's Mow the Distance sales event, where they can save up to $1,000 on Gravely commercial mowers, including the ProTurn 600, the ultimate combination of comfort comfort and performance. Yep, spring is definitely a time for new growth, because there's no better time to build your fleet with Gravely than during the Mow the Distance sales event. And yes, special financing is available. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are officially 1 week away from the NFL draft. That's going to be fun.
We'll talk about it with John McClain and when he joins us at 5:15.
And the NBA play-in. We know who is going to play for the 8 seeds now. We'll talk about that.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Okay. Hey, remember 8:40-ish. We'll give away Alamo Heights night tickets for Fiesta. Why does Fiesta happen? What's the history of Fiesta?
Kind of the Texas Independence Battle of the Alamo.
Okay.
It started with the Battle of Flowers parade way back when.
Okay. And we just turned it into a citywide party.
I wish I had a better origin story. I'm sure there's one written someplace. I really don't know.
Okay. We should figure that out, I guess.
Probably
understand why we're
finding
partying.
it out,
All right, we were talking about teams that might trade up or trade down. Border Jumper says if Ashton Genty falls to the Cowboys and they trade down, fans will revolt.
True. I know I would.
Yeah, First of all, I don't think Ashton Genty's going to make it to 12, but I know Cowboys fans would be upset if they don't take him.
Let's talk about this. In my heart of hearts, I know it's wrong. I know it's not the right pick.
But you can't help it.
God, I want Ashton Genty. God, I want him so bad.
You don't care that he'll be running behind a line of just paper men.
I know it'll cut his career short and ruin his life, and he's going to be.
We can get Scarecrows to put at left guard. Big deal.
Man, it's just. As a Cowboy fan, I just want to see a dude that
you want a shiny thing.
Yes, I do.
You want a shiny thing.
It's not any shiny thing. It's a running back.
Yes.
I don't know why I feel this way.
It's every fan gets that way. I get it. When you've got especially a guy who and it's almost like Jerry. Like you become like Jerry where you're like everybody knows his name. They're all going to be talking about, we got the guy that everybody was talking about.
That guy could run. You ever seen him tote the mail?
They got highlights of him. You ain't going to find any highlights of these offensive linemen.
I'm sold. I'm in it. Yep, I agree, Jerry. Let's get him.
It's shiny. I like it.
It's fast.
All right, teams that could trade down in round 1. The New Orleans Saints, who sit at number 9. This is a little weird because quarterback is clearly a priority need now for the Saints because I think it might have been considered it probably was a way they were looking in the first round before this Derek Carr news. Now with knowing Derek Carr is probably not going to play next season, it's even more of a priority. But so it would make sense for them to, take the guy you want at number 9. But it says, however, if the Saints are not enamored with the top of the QB class, they strike me as a potential trade-down team. Why? Because they have tons of needs, and they've got tons of – they're in cap hell. They have been. Mm-hmm. They're finally starting to get out of it, but it means that they just don't have any good players on their roster now. So a lot of good teams, offensive linemen, cornerback, edge rushers, wide receivers, can be found between 13 and 22, which is what we could see New Orleans trading back to. And there are players such as Ashton Genty and Penn State tight end Tyler Warren that will be available probably at number 9 that there are a lot of teams who would be interested in going to get.
Jerry would be one, I would think. I don't care what they're saying. If he's close, if he's within a couple of picks, there will be a call made. I just feel that way. They've interviewed him, right? He's coming to the house?
Yes.
Yeah, that's sometimes –
and then the Saints take a quarterback in round 2, I guess?
No, the thing about New Orleans is I don't know how safe Mickey Loomis is. If Loomis feels comfortable in his job and the Bensons or whoever's running the organization ain't going to fire him, the smart move is to trade out. I mean, you're already underwater with your $150 million deal there with Derek Carr. So don't don't chase bad. You need to just fill the gaps, and you'll get another chance next year with all kinds of money. But right now, if he's not worried about getting fired in the next couple of years, the wise move for New Orleans would be to hold out hope that Shedeur falls, and if he doesn't, leave. Get out.
For the Cowboys to go from 12 to 9 would likely cost them the 12th pick and the 76th pick, which is their third-round pick, which would mean now, Cowboys fan, you do not have a third or fourth-round pick.
But we have a running back.
But you'd have a running back.
We're used to functioning without a fourth-round pick, so that would be nothing new.
Are you willing to go sit the whole third round, sit the whole fourth round?
No. Well, yes, I am, but that would be the wrong move. That's why I'm sitting here.
I like that you accept that this is terrible business, but I'm going to do it.
There's just something about my football psyche that says you must have a running back. I don't care if you're losing. You might, as long as you're getting 125 on 18 carries or so. The game was worthwhile. It was worth the time.
Rin says Ashton mentioned to Rich Eisen he would like to be a Cowboy.
He's from Dallas, I think.
Yeah, and listen, man, you're trying to guarantee draft stock.
I wish he was
I'd
worthy
like to play
of my
for anybody
praise.
in the top 10.
I guess he's that good. I don't know. I knew when I saw Saquon, and it's easy to look in the rearview mirror, but I did believe when I saw Saquon, this dude's going to change it. I mean, he's that good. And injuries have caused running backs to get derailed. And I've seen just enough of Ashton Genty to think he might be it, but I don't really know. You know, he's not Saquon in my mind. He's not one of those backs. And Zeke in my mind, too. When Zeke came out, I was pretty damn comfortable. Now, that being said, if you can't get an Ashton Genty, there's a couple of backs at Ohio State that I wouldn't be upset with later on, or the North Carolina guy. Now, I can be appeased as a Cowboy fan with a later round running back, but let me tell you, I want a running back, and I'll pay to get it.
It's been rare for me that I've been like, this guy's good enough, I would take him in round 1, or in the top 5 or 10 or whatever. Like, I remember when Adrian Peterson came out, I wanted Adrian Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
I said, this guy is a miracle, once-in-a-lifetime type player.
But I'm all those guys. I was all in on Curtis Enos. I mean, if you're a running back, I'm like, dude.
Or Kajana Carter.
Carter. I'd have taken him too. Yes, that's me.
Yeah, but especially now, the modern NFL, where running back is even less valuable than it once was. It's been like Adrian Peterson. I think I would have been right to take him. The other guy that I thought that way about was Todd Gurley, and I don't think I would have been right. Like Todd Gurley was good for about a 2-year span, but Todd Gurley was he was not worthy of a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he's the nice guy version of Kawhi. This injury's just ended it. He held on too long.
But that's the thing about running backs also is the most likely position you're going to get injured at is running back.
Yes, no question about it. I thought Cedric Benson was going to be great.
I didn't.
I thought the size was going to be enough, and for a year there in Chicago, it looked like it could happen. But I fall into that trap, and I'm not proud of it. But to me, the most impressive guy on a football field is a beautiful running back. I just love to watch it.
Now, ask me about Ricky.
Well, now, of course, yes.
Would I have given up a kidney for Ricky like the Saints did? Probably not.
I would have.
But the difference between Ricky and Cedric, I always said this, that like anybody who ever said Cedric was just as good as Ricky, I said
he wasn't that.
He wasn't that. The difference between those two guys is you were never catching Ricky from behiend. Like if Ricky got by you lost. But I do think Cedric cared more about football than Ricky, which probably made a difference too. But it's hard for me to want to invest so highly in a running back. I'm the opposite of you. I'd much rather. I don't know why I don't value that position as much.
I think it's
terrible of me.
I was in probably 6th or 7th grade watching USC tailback U. I think it was just tossing it to Ricky. What was his name? Ricky whatever. There was Charles White, Ricky Davis. Just tailback U just meant something to me, and it stuck with me to this day. When it all things being equal, I'm always going to take a running back. It doesn't matter. Even if I had one other one, I'd take another one.
The other teams they list as potential trade down teams, the Atlanta Falcons, who currently sit at 15. They've got a ton of needs, but they only have 3 picks before round 7 in the draft.
If Atlanta wanted to get better, Kirk Cousins wouldn't be on this team. So if you're expecting them to make a move to get better,
he says one thing that could help, I still believe Atlanta will at least explore trading Kirk Cousins for 2025 draft capital, even if their return was modest.
You know, if they're going to get better, they're going to have to trade Cousins. Now, how much better, that'll be up to their negotiating skills. But until you tell me they're moving, they're not going to do anything in the draft. They don't care.
Matt brings up, it was Ricky Bell.
Ricky Bell. Oh,
that's right.
Man.
Matt's an encyclopedia.
Well, there's Ricky Bell and there was Ricky Davis. But Davis a little bit older.
Yeah.
But Bell won that.
The Broncos at 20. He says the Broncos strike me as a trade-down candidate for two reasons. First of all, this roster does not have many glaring needs. The most popular position linked to Denver has been running back, which could easily be filled in a later round. Wide receiver is another potential position to target, but there will be some talented pass catchers on day 2. In fact, I actually find the depth in this year's wideout crew to be more appealing than the headliners. The second reason involves the team picking directly behind the Broncos, which is the Steelers, who still haven't signed Aaron Rodgers. And even if he joins the Steelers, he'll be 42 in December. Pittsburgh knows it has to be mindful about its quarterback room for the future, but so do other teams. And as such, another QB-needy team could call Denver to get ahead of the Steelers to get either Shador or Jackson Dart. Like everybody who wants to sneak back in and get a quarterback is going to look at where the Pittsburgh Steelers are picking, and you got to get ahead of them.
And Peyton is – there's so many. He doesn't desperately need anything, but he needs a lot of stuff, so he could take a lot of different kinds of deals. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different offers he could take that would perfectly fit the Broncos and just screw the Steelers. They cannot be behind Denver.
This one surprises me because it's a team who I feel like probably feels like they're getting close and want to make some moves, but the Washington Commanders. And he says the Commanders check 2 boxes as a trade-down candidate. They're picking late enough in the first round that a team selecting early on day 2 might give them a call. They currently are sitting at 29, and they have just 5 picks in total. So in other words, they're in a good position to trade out and should be willing, since this class is regarded as deeper than top-heavy. Moving down would give Washington more chances to add depth at positions of need, including edge rusher and wide receiver.
Are they in the don't screw it up part of the development now?
No.
Okay.
I still think they need building.
Yeah, no, they need building, but don't do anything stupid. Don't overvalue somebody.
I agree with that.
Just do it. I like the idea of trading down, but I still think they need to have these high talent guys. I think they need to get their first round draft pick.
And then it's got one team that could trade up or down. And this one, I wouldn't shock me either way. I think I'd be shocked if they traded up in round 1. But it's more talking about where the Patriots could move back into the first round. So it's talking about the New England Patriots who pick at 4. It wouldn't shock me if they trade down out of 4 because the Patriots, they're the opposite of the Bills or this is a team with a lot of needs.
And if Carter's not there?
The good thing is the Patriots don't – the one need they don't have is quarterback.
Yeah.
That's like the best position to be in because it means you can literally take whoever you want, whoever you really like. And if someone really likes someone and you like 3 or 4 guys, okay, we'll take the third guy, and you can get some haul back. And then it said, let's jump to round 2. And if Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter's available, it says more than likely they're going to take him.
That's what I'm saying. If he's not there, I can see him moving, but they're not going to leave Carter on the board.
But it says, let's jump to round 2. The Patriots spent big in free agency on both sides of the ball, and that includes Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, Stephon Diggs. But it says there are still roster weaknesses, and a climb up from 38 for a preferred target would make total sense. They've been aggressive at plugging holes already under Vrabel, so why not keep that moving? Because they have 9 draft picks to play with. So he's got the Patriots trading up from number 38 to 30 to go ahead and get some offensive line help, and that's after drafting Travis Hunter.
And one of the good things is about that offensive line help at 30 is you get that guy for another year.
Yes.
So that's why you would jump up. It would help you financially for that one extra bonus year.
All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll give away those tickets to Alamo Heights night, and we'll get back into some hoop. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning, and heads up, a new trouble spot on the west side, Highway 90 eastbound approaching General Hudnell. That's an accident causing a 15-minute delay as you slow from 151 Castroville Road. On 1604 eastbound Babcock, that stall is still there, but now onto the left shoulder. And a stall at 410 westbound Harry Wurzbach and 410 eastbound Callahan, both of those stalls off to the right shoulder. Pretty much most all our major freeway systems are filling in, slowing down as we start to get into the meat of our morning rush hour. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. And now, a Progressive ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big with Progressive. This has been a Progressive ad from Progressive. See if you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hey, listen up, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, long nights monitoring cyber activity, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training. We call that credit where credit is due. Whether you're active duty and looking at what's next, or a veteran looking for something new, our degrees and certificate programs teach the application of emerging technologies and enduring life skills. So get started on a degree or certificate with personalized local support services and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. UMGC keeps your educational goals attainable with no-cost digital materials replacing textbooks in most courses, reduced tuition rates for eligible service members and their families, and scholarships for those who qualify. Get started here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 five-star reviews on Google. So, who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Rob's in here rocking out, baby. Couple guys who are committing to the draft or giving up some of them maintaining eligibility, some not. And I don't even know what the variation is, like what's different now, because you can have an agent when you're in college.
I think they're waiting for the Portsmouth and the combines to go work out in front of the GMs and let everybody tell them the honest truth. Like, look, you're not ready. You're not going to get drafted. Go back home.
In the last 48 hours, some guys who have declared for the draft. One is South Carolina's Colin Murray Boyles, which don't think that's a big surprise.
No, he's going to be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, although I've seen him top 7, 8, all the way down to late first round. I don't know where he sits exactly, but Con Kneifel is
all in, baby.
He seems no Cooper Flagg yet, but Con is going. This one, I think this is smart of this guy to keep his draft eligibility. Alex Condon from Florida, so he's a sophomore. He's entering the draft but maintaining his eligibility. If I were an NBA NBA scout and I saw his film from the Final Four, I'm good, bro.
He's raw, there's no doubt. But what he does offer is a motor that runs. That dude, everything he did were sins of activity, of sins of commission. He went and did it. They were stupid.
He actively traveled like 4 times.
Oh, he's raw as all get out. But there's not a lot of big men that work as hard as he does. And I think that's why he sees himself and very likely would be a first-round draft pick. But man, oh man, dude, go work on your game, refine your craft. There's something to be said for preparing yourself for this. Even though you might actually get drafted this year, I don't think it's good for you at all.
This one surprised me a little. Danny Wolf of Michigan, who spent 1 year at Michigan, transferred in from Yale.
He's a smart guy.
Smart kid. Apparently smart enough that he is leaving Michigan to head to the NBA draft. He's a projected first-round pick.
Dude, he's got a skill set. He's a poor man's Cooper Flagg. You can define it however you want.
That's probably a good way to.
But he's a ball handling. He's a walking turnover. But there is some skill that he provides that not a lot of guys have. I don't want him.
I think he's a walking turnover because he was at. Where else is a 7-footer asked to handle the ball as much as he was?
He can do some really interesting
weird
things. That's just not the guy, at least for the Spurs. That's not a guy that would fit in my mind. But I get the allure. There's not a lot of guys that can do what he can do. And he's obviously smart, and he's a winner no matter where he's gone. He's taken his team deep into tournaments, so respect.
And he grew defensively this year because instead of only being asked to defend the other team's big slow, because they would have Golden on the floor with him, he was asked to defend the fours. And a lot of college fours specifically are like NBA wings, and like being able to defend those guys at the next level is a big deal. It says he is the number 19 ranked prospect.
How did a good application to him. Remember what's his name? Filipowski from
Kyle
Duke?
Filipowski, yeah.
They have kind of the same game.
Yeah, I think this is similar.
And Filipowski didn't have a bad year.
No.
So, yeah, there's a place for him.
Elsewhere in the news, there is a new coach in college sports.
This is awesome.
A former Heisman Trophy winner is now going to be coaching a HBCU in basketball.
This guy, I respect him.
He's a Spur, right?
I respect him more than just about any athlete I have ever met.
Charlie Ward is the new head coach at Florida A&M University. At least that's what he's finalizing the deal, or was finalizing it yesterday at the most recent thing. Played in the NBA for a little over a decade, mostly with the Knicks, but played with the Spurs and the Rockets for a little while.
Yeah, he had a cup of coffee here. He did.
Was also an assistant coach with the Rockets for a couple of years under Van Gundy.
I didn't know that.
And he has been a high school head coach in Tallahassee, and also was an assistant coach with USA Basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And now takes over I don't know how to put it other than to say this is
it's a historically black college.
It is a very difficult job that has very little
There's no money.
history of success.
No, yeah.
They've never been to the tournament, but they haven't been to the tournament since 2007. And again, you're right. The thing to really think about is like you don't have a budget for for NIL or anything like that. So you got this. I don't know what kind of a coach Charlie Ward is, but it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this.
I can tell you this: whoever plays for him will be better for it. They might not win because it's FAMU and it's the situation they find themselves in, but they couldn't have found a more solid person to run any kind of organization. I've met him over the years in a couple of different capacities, and in every instance, I have never come across a more solid, grounded individual than Charlie Ward.
Does a seven because I know when Dion shows up at an HBCU, he was able to recruit the kind of players that typically weren't showing up. But I don't know if the typical 17-year-old kid knows who Charlie Ward is.
No idea. And if they are of the Florida State fandom, they probably remember football. And if it's not football, they probably remember Florida State basketball with Bobby Sura and not Charlie Ward.
Right.
He, like you said, he's a 10-year vet. He has coaching chops. There is no problem with this hire. It's just that he's doomed for success. Yeah. He's not success, at least on the court, is not imminent. Can he bring some vibe to the team? Sure, man. There's probably some more money just because he's there, but an excellent hire and a great place for him to be because he can make a difference there.
And something to keep in mind, Florida A&M is in Tallahassee, Florida, so it is
coaching. Yeah,
it's right down the road from Florida State. And if there is a part of the country where people know who Charlie Ward is, I assume it's that part of the country.
And you know what? If he wins just one season, he could be the head coach at Florida State next year. I mean, they're in their own hunt right now.
Yeah. It's hard to know who's ever going to win in the SWAC, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, where it's impossible to get guys who can shoot. You're always dealing with guys who are turning the ball over a ton. It's a weird brand of basketball, but everybody generally plays on the same level, so there is that.
I think
I'm curious to see how he goes about it, whether or not he tries to out-athlete guys or he tries to put in some sort of a pro-style system.
Who knows? I could say this, that for those of you who never have heard of Charlie Ward, and all this talk about how Travis Hunter is this fabulous two-side athlete, Charlie Ward put him to shame, man. This guy was a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and a first-round draft pick in the NBA, and was successful on both at the same time.
Roger brings it up. Charlie was smart for going to the NBA instead of the NFL.
Oh yeah,
100%.
But 20 years later, nowadays, Charlie Ward would be considered a top 5 pick.
That's probably true.
I mean, he paved the way for guys like Kyler Murray, and there's been many others in between.
At the time, Charlie Ward was 6'1", 190, and we all thought of him as probably too small to play quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, those guys get into the NFL all the time now.
Yeah, and they played the offense that those new quarterbacks are now using to get in. I mean, that was a remarkable couple of years back in the early 90s watching Ward do what he did. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I mean, let's think about what this cat did. Won the Heisman and then played NBA basketball.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, I will say, again, I don't know what kind of a coach he is, but knowing that he's been around the Van Gundys and he played under Popovich, like,
and Pat Riley,
yeah.
He's been and Bobby Bowden. Coaches are movers of men, and you know, the sport is secondary to how your ability is to reach an individual. And I can tell you this: Charlie will reach you. Now, whether you want to listen to it or not, that's another thing.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, this guy's been coaching USA basketball. My guess is the guy he can coach.
I cannot tell you how interesting an individual he is, because if you did not know that he had been a former athlete, if you had no idea what he did, you'd think he was an accountant. You know, when you sit and talk, you'd think he was a family attorney.
I don't know where I maybe saw him at, maybe it was one of the Final Four Radio Rows or something like that. But that was the vibe I got from, because he was like wearing like khakis and he had his shirt tucked in real tight and he looked like
Chris Paul's brother.
Yeah, Cliff Paul. He looked like a nerd.
Seriously,
quite frankly, like a dude who might wear suspenders. And I was like, that's Charlie Ward? And they were like, yeah, that's Charlie. I was like, there's no way. But yeah, that's Charlie Ward. Like, I didn't have the chance to speak to him. So that's the one thing I remember was seeing him and going, that guy won the Heisman? Seriously?
He is a soft-spoken dude who, quite frankly, until yesterday, I hadn't thought of him in 15 years. I hadn't thought, he hadn't crossed my mind. He hadn't been doing anything to be newsworthy. I know he's been making a difference.
He looks like he would be the music pastor at a church.
That's him. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
He does not come off, he does not give the vibe of former elite professional athlete.
No.
So I'm curious to see how he does. I hope he does well, because you're not the first person I've heard say he's a great guy. Yeah. But yeah, it's an uphill climb, man. That's a tough gig.
I didn't realize it was in Tallahassee, so at least he's staying.
Yep.
Home.
And Matt says won the national title in '93 too, not just the Heisman. Yeah, he is a winner. All right.
Did you solicit the tickets for Alamo Heights?
Did I not?
I don't think so.
I felt like we
did.
I
thought I did.
I think we did.
But if I didn't, let's ask Edwin. Otherwise, I may have blown it. I may have not given a number. I don't think I did. Let's do this. Caller number 5 right now, Alamo Heights night. Friday, April 25th at University Incarnate Word. Caller number 5. Make it happen.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. And now, a Progressive ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big with Progressive. This has been a Progressive ad from Progressive. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio where I've practiced for more than 30 years. And San Antonio has really grown since I started practicing law. The risk of injury in a car crash today is greater than it's ever been, because every day we're forced to share our roads with 80,000-pound 18-wheelers and some truly dangerous drivers. If you or a family member is injured in a car crash, know this: the insurance companies are mobilized against you. They have highly trained adjusters and a long roster of attorneys with one job: pay as little as possible. Their techniques are extensive, and I believe you have zero chance of obtaining a fair recovery on your own. If you're involved in a car crash, you need to hire an attorney as soon as possible after the collision and before you speak to the insurance company's adjusters. Now, I do not have a comic book nickname. I do not call myself the Law Eagle, the Tiger Lawyer, the Law Chupacabra. I think the practice of law needs to be taken more seriously. If you've been injured, call me, Jason Thompson, for a free consultation. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or my website, alawyerforus.com.
John, what do you think about these tariffs? What do you think is going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The prices on used cars have suddenly come up because the cost has gone up. And at GimmeTheVin.com, we're paying more. Go to GimmeTheVin.com, put in your license plate, and see for yourself. We're paying more today than we were yesterday. Remember, the tariffs have raised the car prices, and we are paying extra. GimmeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer. Sell us your car.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-770-2727. 800-770-2727.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
It was a nightmare. We felt stuck.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Join us for San Antonio's premier Fiesta event, Taste of the Northside, presented by HEB, Thursday, May 1st at 6. Experience gourmet food and wine tastings, sip on elevated spirits and cold brews, and enjoy live entertainment at our new location, The Rock at La Cantera. All proceeds benefit Brighton Center, serving children with disabilities and developmental delays in San Antonio. Limited all-inclusive tickets are $300 in advance and can be purchased at tasteofthenorthside.org. Viva Fiesta!
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning and heads up. A new trouble spot on the west side, Highway 90 eastbound approaching General Hudnell. That's an accident causing a 15-minute delay as you slow from 151 Castroville Road. On 1604 eastbound Babcock, that stall is still there, but now off to the left shoulder. And a stall at 410 westbound Harry Wurzbach and 410 eastbound Callahan, both of those stalls off to the right shoulder. Pretty much most all our major freeway systems are filling in, slowing down as we start to get into the meat of our morning rush hour. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA play-in continued last night as the Miami Heat sent the Chicago Bulls home. 109-90 the final score. Miami's moving on to take on Atlanta tomorrow for the 8th seed. The Mavs, led by Anthony Davis's 27, took care of Sacramento's season. The final 120-106 over the Kings. The Mavs moving on to take on the Grizzlies. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Talk.
This Sports Center update brought to you by Twin Peaks.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
8:02 on the Morning Huddle. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. B. Hannon says that's crazy about Charlie Ward. Had no idea who he was. I mean, it's been a long time. So, I mean, 1993 is a long time ago.
Kind of got lost in the wash. But,
I mean,
yeah.
At that time, I mean, I was, 12, 13 at that time, and he was like a huge star, man. He really was. And it was like almost unbelievable to me that this was the best college football player and he wasn't going to play in the NFL.
Right. It was because there was talk back then if you were that kind of quarterback, you would be a wide receiver.
You mean a black quarterback?
I didn't. I was going to say mobile and short.
Yes,
but if you were black. Mobile and short and maybe black,
yeah,
because Doug Flutie was never told.
Yeah, they were never telling Doug Flutie, "Oh, maybe you should try tight end.
Yeah, maybe you should get someplace further away from the ball." No, but Charlie Ward was looked at as a great athlete that could probably play in the NFL. Any skill position he wanted to, but basketball was his passion, and he was really good at it. He played a decade in the league and on contending teams there with the Knicks that were just a bucket or two away from the finals. I mean, everybody was chasing Michael in that decade, but one of those stories that just because his NBA career didn't pan out to Hall of Famedom, that we kind of forgot what he did on the college field.
Andrew tweeted earlier when AJ was comparing the Spurs to other irrelevant franchises, which again, I'm not saying they are that. I think that there's a time where you can become that. He said all I could think about was this tweet, and he posted a tweet from this guy who is a radio guy out on the West Coast, I think.
Who is it?
Dave Carmichael.
Yeah.
And he said, the Kings alienated their homegrown star, fired their coach, traded that star, then fired the GM they entrusted to make these franchise-altering moves just weeks later, and they have no pick. This is not about whether or not you agree with the Fox trade. It's about how not to do things. And you're like, it does kind of bring to light that whatever you think of where the Spurs are right now, they're not being run in a disastrous fashion.
No, but sometimes what has been frustrating with the Spurs is just that there's never a move. There's never a deal. There's never, and that's changed. Obviously, De'Aaron sitting here, but that had to be done with a team that is too frequently making deals. That, you had to go to the one team that is more than willing to do something crazy, but I would much rather feel like the ground underneath my feet as a fan is solid. I know where I stand. Nothing weird's going to happen tonight. They're not going to trade Luka, for God's sake. I know that's not going to happen. That, the Spurs have that long kind of comfortability as there's no radical change imminent. Unfortunately, there's no radical improvement imminent either, So that's kind of the life you choose when you have boring isn't the word. Strategic, I think, would be the more appropriate corporate term, where they're just going to do what they're planning on doing and nothing else.
Yeah, the Kings owner, that Vivek what's his name, Ranadev? I think it's Ranadev.
Software magnate.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who say he's the one kind of pulling these strings, but it's weird to think that because he has really kind of been very much behind the scenes, hands off. He's one of the least visible owners in the NBA, I would say, especially considering the Maloof brothers were there before him, who were some of the most visible.
Yeah, if that's the case, he needs to get more involved, because it does feel like that's a franchise that's like a pinball. It's just bouncing from one thing to another without any real solid. We got an idea of the future. It felt like they were headed that way. They had Mike Brown in place. They had a GM that had just won GM of the year. They had orchestrated a couple of good deals. I mean, they bring in Herter, and they get Sabonis, and they have De'Aaron Fox that they draft. They've got everything in order, and they couldn't get out of their own way. It's all they're doing.
Yeah, it does feel like, though, letting this guy make all these franchise-altering decisions and then firing him the day after the season ends.
See, you need to be more involved, owner.
Yeah. That's bad business.
The good news is some owners treat their teams like
a toy. Some
treat it like an asset, and some treat it like a boat. And are willing to trash it for their own fun. Hey, I'll just replace the motors, no big deal. I don't care if I don't sell any tickets. I'm a billionaire. I'll be fine. I hate it when I have owners that are over-involved or under-involved. And you want right in the middle. Spend when asked, but shut up. Spend when asked, listen to the experts, and stay out of the way. That's all I ask.
Yeah. And
normally the absentee won't let you spend. And if they are totally involved, they're spending too much on the wrong thing.
Yeah. It's a weird balance for sure, but you certainly can't let someone make all these decisions and then go, you're out.
Bye.
And it just makes it reeks of not having any direction is what it reeks of.
And I can see why you trade De'Aaron Fox. That $230 million deal that the Spurs are going to have him sign here in the next couple of weeks. That's a big contract. I don't care whether you're winning titles or not. That's a big bite, and I can see why he made the move. But in the end, that was his end.
Yep. So it could be worse, Spurs fan. It could be worse, because at least it feels like the Spurs have a plan. The Kings, who are further along and probably at this point still more talented than the Spurs.
Oh, no question. Their four best players are better than our four best players.
They have no direction and feel like there's no – the Kings fans should have little hope that things are going to improve. I can't imagine they do feel like, oh, yeah, things are looking up for us. Like, there's no way.
No, that De'Aaron Fox, that was a pivot point in this franchise's history. And the way that we saw Sabonis get abused last night was a further example. Is they spent their money in the wrong ways. They put together some good talent, but you can't invest that much on a big that half the league will take advantage of on any given night just because of his size. That's all. I mean, he doesn't have a chance.
There have been since Vivek has taken over the team, they have had now 8 coaches, 3 GMs. So that's going to be his 4th GM in 13 seasons that he's going in on, and 1 playoff appearance. It almost feels like you could accidentally do better than that.
You can. You could. If they'd have done absolutely nothing, they'd have made the playoff 4 times.
Like we would always talk about when I was in Vegas, to win as a sports bettor, you want to hit around 53%. And if you win 53% of your games, you're a profitable sports bettor. If you are hitting 49%, literally a drunken baby can do that, flipping a coin. Like, you know what I mean? A drunk baby has a better chance of winning. That means like you're doing things really wrong. This guy's clearly doing things really, really wrong. A drunk baby could do a better job than this.
So, like on my current DFS losing streak is now at 8 days. I have not hit a bet in 8 consecutive days.
Now, but you're also trying to hit parlays, which is different.
I'm trying to hit 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4. But, I mean, 8 consecutive days, I think if I'd have just bet the line, you know what I mean, I'd have been well ahead.
But maybe you've got 8 days in a row.
Oh, it's coming, baby. That's the next roll, the next pull, baby.
That's it. Hey, we've got some Nyosa tickets we're going to give away at 9:40 today. So if you didn't win the first couple tickets, Alamo Heights Night or the Oyster Bay, good news. We still got more coming your way, baby. We ain't going to let you down. We got one more round of tickets, and we'll have them tomorrow, and looks like we're going to have some next week as well. A little breaking news in the sports world. I say sports world. This is more of the sports media world. And quite frankly, this to me is the best thing that could have happened. We were talking about with Pop, it's really hard to make a guy walk away, and he's a guy you can't really fire. So you kind of just have to hope when the time comes, he sees it and leaves on his own accord. Lee Corso will retire from College Game Day in August. It's been hard to watch Lee for the last couple years. I'm a fan, but I'm also of the belief that at some point it becomes almost like dehumanizing to have people in these
a sideshow, and you don't want to be that.
I always think about Dick Clark, the guy who was basically the founder of like the New Year's Eve on television.
Yeah,
and they always wanted him doing the countdown, but like
10,
he would
7,
he would be on like
9.
6, and the ball would have already dropped, and inside because he had that stroke, it was all so slow. It's like, dude, you can't roll that guy out there anymore. Lee Corso was getting to that point where it was painful to watch it be on that stage. But he released a statement, and now this very well could be ESPN going, listen, man, we're trying our best, but we got to end this thing. And I know that Kirk Herbstreit has been a big supporter of his.
It was all Kirk.
And if Kirk didn't exist, Lee probably would have been put out to pasture years ago.
He's 89.
Yeah, he'll be 90 when football season starts.
He'll be 90.
Whoa. Yeah, so it was time.
Let's talk age. I'm about to turn 60. And just about the entirety of my adult sports viewing life, I have had Lee Corso in college football.
Yep.
And I've had Dick Vitale
in
college.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about for 35 years.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been at ESPN since 1987.
I'm telling you,
Isn't that when it started?
The entirety. That's in '87 was
just
that was
peak
it,
year, right?
Well, I mean,
that's when Game Day started. Yeah,
Game Day started, and the TV rights had changed when Game Day started. The Raycom rules and all those regional broadcast networks were finally collapsing, and we could have weekly regular football from across the country we could watch. And Corso has been a part of that since then.
Yeah. He went 286 and 144 in his 430 selections of headgear selections.
Not so fast, my friend.
Now that's not against the spread, but still a strong choice.
Short, crisp passes.
His final broadcast will be August 30th. They're going to do some additional programming to celebrate Corso in the days leading up to that weekend. Remember, he had a stroke in 2009, which means the last 16 years we've been kind of
pushing him
There's
along,
been a slow degradation.
His travel's been limited. He said ESPN's been exceptionally generous to me, especially these past few years. They accommodated me and supported me, as did my colleagues in the early days of Game Day. Special thanks to Kirk Herbstreit for his friendship and encouragement. And lest I forget the fans, truly a blessing to share this with them. It's been a wonderful opportunity, and I am genuinely grateful. Herbie and Corso have been working together since 1996. So, good run for Lee Corso. I'm glad it's over. But still, you almost forget now that he was a coach. Like
coached at Indiana, he coached in the World League.
He coached at Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually played college football for a while, like well before my time. But
one of those guys that always had a glimmer in his eye. There's a spark. Even now, there's still the spark. He just can't physically communicate the way that he did. But it's still a dude, man. I'm feeling very old today.
Yes, but I'm also grateful that
it's time to go.
Yeah, he's figured that out, or at least they've at least given him some dignity on the way out by making it seem like he's the one who figured it out. Because that's all you hope for a guy like that is let him go out with some dignity. And good for Lee Corso.
Who's going to replace him? Did McAfee do that too?
They've already got Saban up there.
Saban I don't think Saban's long for Game Day.
I don't think so either.
I think he's going to have to loosen up.
He's just riding that wave.
Start having some fun, buddy.
You think Saban's going to put on a mascot head?
Well, no. That's what I'm saying. Start having some fun, buddy. Loosen up just a little bit.
Yeah, if he would put on the mascot head, maybe they'd keep him around. I don't know. But I do think that Saban has some good insight. So I don't know. I don't know what do you value?
I think he sits there next to McAfee going, what the hell am I doing?
I think he does too.
How the hell did I end up here?
I think he's like, what in the... How much? What am I getting?
How much millions? All right, I'll show up.
This guy's an idiot.
I'll be over here.
Freaking kicker talking to me.
What the hell am I doing?
All right. When we come back, we'll take a look at what's going on in the world outside of sports. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. As you head into your commute, we've cleared a lot of our trouble spots, but your travel time, that's starting to fill in most all our major freeway systems. It's slow. 1604 eastbound New Gilbo over to Lock Hill Selma. Also on 410 eastbound Military on over to Callahan. Right now on 1604 westbound from I-10 over to 281, that's a solid 20-minute commute. And about 10-12 minutes, 1604 northbound I-10 on up to 35. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Injury Attorneys, available 24/7.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's gonna audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-770-2727. 800-770-2727.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
If you owe money to the IRS, they'll come after you until you are flat broke. Don't just roll over and take it. The IRS has changed. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a huge break, as much as 87%. Haven't filed a return for years? It's time for Guardian Tax. Their happy clients are celebrating.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Is tax debt ruining your life? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax understands how the IRS works. Personal or business, this is the fresh start you've been praying for. You're scared of the IRS, and for good reason. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Visit GuardianTax.com or call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717. 800-900-1717.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Dun, 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 dun. And I fear the time's a ways to go. Where you going to tomorrow? And I see that these are lies to come. Burning. Would you even care? And I feel it.
Is this guy dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel it.
How'd he die?
Heroin. Where you going for tomorrow?
Is this, what's his name?
Scott Weiland.
Oh, this is the Vaseline guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots.
As you
were
starting your tribute band.
I should.
Yeah.
Watching
you
Stephen
dug it,
A.
right?
Oh, I did. I did not.
Vic, you liked it, right? We had
that was good. You had a moment. That was good. I'm watching. This is just a sidebar for a second. The Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James feud is a glorious thing to watch. And it's going on, and it's real passive aggressive, but it's going on, baby.
Oh my God!
So now on Get Up or whatever the hell Stephen A's on. The question posed, do you agree with Stephen A. Smith? The top 3 Robins, as in Batman and Robin in the NBA playoffs, are as follows. The number 1 Robin in the NBA's playoffs is LeBron James to Luka. Number 2 is Jimmy to Steph, which is probably true. And number 3, Jalen Williams. But it's the LeBron James as Robin.
Oh, man.
Just a little something for LeBron. Just take that with you as you go into the playoffs.
Just a reminder.
And by the way, your kid
is not the best.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Did I tell you your kid sucks? Robin?
Ooh.
Never end.
Dude. Ooh. How can I anger LeBron today? I'm going to call him Robin. How he responds to that on the shop.
He's the sidekick.
I mean, it's not like who's the best 1-2 punch. It's no.
I'm going to call you Robin.
Wow.
Stephen A., man. Run for president, please.
Yeah.
Right? We need this.
All right.
I said it.
Good for him. Big balls play. Big balls play. I like to take a look at what's going on in the world outside of sports here. Sometimes it's Hollywood stuff. Sometimes it's just wacky stories. Haley Joel Osment, who I still think of as a child actor for some reason.
He sees dead people.
He does. Well, now he sees the police. He's been arrested. Mammoth Lakes, California, for allegedly being publicly intoxicated and in possession of a controlled substance.
And that's Cali, so it's not weed.
No. He was... But I don't know that it could be coke either, because he's a pretty big fat person now. Now, in 2006, when he was 18, he was charged with misdemeanor drunk driving, and at that time he had possession of marijuana, and he was sentenced to 3 years of probation.
So he was like a regular 18-year-old in 2006.
Yeah, so no big deal, right? And then in 2018... he got into a public verbal scuffle at the Vegas airport on Super Bowl Sunday. And then now there's this incident. They are trying to decide whether or not the district attorney will reportedly decide whether or not to prosecute the case. But he was seen as like public intox. Okay, so what?
Yeah.
You're walking around drunk. Big deal. But that seems, I don't know. Maybe it's not as big of a deal. I want to know what the controlled substance was, though.
I hadn't thought about this cat in a while. He still looks like he did.
He looks fat.
Well, yeah, he's certainly gained some weight. Probably that's
mad.
him. You know it's him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was in Forrest Gump, too. He was young Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I did not put that together.
Speaking of fat guys.
Oh, that's Forrest Gump's kid.
Yeah.
It was Forrest Gump's child.
Okay,
with
he
the
wasn't
worst woman in the world.
With Jenny.
Jenny was the worst human being to ever walk the planet.
Jenny's not nice.
No, she's not.
No, but she did. She touched me there. That was real nice.
You know, that's more. That's so true, man.
It's like
she's worse. She's awful, but she touched me there.
Right. I mean, isn't that every man? It's
Ruined
not just
my life.
Forrest. Like, we're all suckers for that. Not
Yeah, we are.
Not just the mentally underwhelmed. We are like every man has fallen victim to that. God, this woman is terrible, but
you touched it.
She does stuff.
Yeah, she does.
You know?
That's why I'm still there.
Yeah. Like, well,
she's awful. She's terrible, but she touched it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. She's an awful human being, but she did touch it.
According to, I guess Elon Musk didn't want his most recent fun baby to be out there.
What's this one's name? Okay.
I don't know what the name. I don't know what the name is. I know the mama's name is Ashley St. Clair.
Oh, she might be the most striking of all of these.
Yes.
Wives.
She is a shining example of, if you got money, nothing else really matters.
Oh,
when it comes to getting chicks. Let's face it, because like when you see a side by side picture of Elon and Ashley St. Clair, it's almost repulsive.
How the hell did
It's
this
like
happen?
Yeah, like it would never happen. Just two regular people, two middle class people at the meeting up at an Applebee's that looked like they would never end up together. But according to a report from the Wall Street Journal, though, Elon offered to pay the 26-year-old influencer. By the way, she's older than Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Elon's going to have to go back to the well.
Offered her a one-time payment of $15 million, as well as $100,000 a month in support to keep quiet about their kid and never let anyone know that it was his.
Well, you're worth $1 billion. You can do better than that.
Doesn't $15 million feel like a low ball?
Yeah, that's pocket change, baby.
That is a low ball for that.
Dude. I'm going back to the well. Come on now.
Now, the insider confirms that similar agreements had been negotiated with other mothers of Elon's children. So this isn't the first time and maybe he's got more kids than we thought. Elon really, really doesn't believe in condoms. Like, if I were worth 1% of what Elon was worth, I'd be real careful about where I spread my...
That'd be double wrapped.
Yeah, because...
carrying some hot sauce, if you know what I mean.
I'd be snipped the way I am
That's
now.
the move.
That is the move.
The move is to get snipped and then be like,
don't tell nobody.
I want to have a baby with you, and then, I'll give you this much in child support.
On?
Yeah,
and let them all think you'll get that baby. And then
got to keep trying,
The report, they've previously referred, his name is Romulus, by the way, is the baby's name. Romulus. Of course. The report also reveals the results of his paternity test in the case. According to a report from LabCorp, Musk's probability of paternity was 99.9999%. So
there's still that
he's still like
running around.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Not 100%.
So you're saying there's a chance. But yeah, she ended up not keeping it a secret, and now
What was it again? $15 million and $100,000 a month for 18 years?
Yeah.
Well,
what do? You take it
from a bit? No.
You tell your lawyer to go get more.
Yes.
Yeah. Although 15, I mean, I don't need more than.
So what would it be? $100 million and $500,000 a month?
I would start there. I'm not kidding.
So $500 million.
You don't want me to go to a judge? I'll go to a judge.
Oh yeah.
I want you to. I want to see your lawyers dance in front of my local judge.
At the end of last month, St. Clair spoke to the Daily Mail on camera as she turned over the keys to her Tesla Model S. She told the Daily Mail she was selling the car to compensate for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support. Musk has denied that he financially retaliated against St. Clair.
Jeez.
So she had to sell the Tesla.
Yeah, she had to sell a Tesla. So
probably broke anyway.
But he said Elon said, I'm still giving child support. I don't know if the child's mine or not, but I'm not against finding out. No court order is needed. Despite not knowing for sure, I've given Ashley $2.5 million and I'm still sending her $500,000 a year. God. So
that sounds good in the offing.
Yeah.
You don't want me to go to a judge. I'm just saying.
That's you. And Elon lives in Texas now, by the way.
Yeah, you can money whip me all you want. Yeah. Eventually, I will see the judge.
Stan Lee, his daughter is
Stanley is
the founder of Marvel Comics, the legendary Marvel creative.
Spider-Man.
The accusation against his daughter, J.C. Lee, started back in 2017 when her mom died. But there's reports alleging that she frequently pressured her parents for money and control of assets.
Well, my kids do that.
And she would engage in screaming matches with Stan and had what the article describes as a powder keg relationship with him, with claims including verbal arguments and at least one physical altercation. There were photos of Joan Lee's arms bruised, and there were rumors that even up to his death, she was physically abusing Stanley, who died of a heart attack in 2018 at 95 years old. She is denying these allegations, saying she's never touched her parents. But it looks like, and I don't know, like,
is there a will in
yeah, I think that's where this is all coming from. But I mean, if both parents are dead, like you deny these allegations, what changes? Does the will can't change, right?
No, will can't change unless there's somebody arguing that there's been a change somewhere that was not validated.
Yeah, I don't know. A mom in Indiana showed up at school. A lot of parents nowadays are uncomfortable with how their kids are teaching, or how parents or teachers are teaching their children. Right. And this woman in Indiana showed up and confronted a teacher while wearing a firearm because her daughter was assigned a project on different flags. And one of the flags was the pride flag. And she did not like that her daughter was, who was a sixth grader, was having to even research about same-sex relationships. The teacher also is involved in a same-sex relationship with a police officer, which I'm sure that's why, this is part of why it's going awry. But when she confronted the teacher, a silent alert system was activated, notifying the police about an irate parent at the school. And police arrived at the school and noticed that she had a holstered firearm on her waist. They removed the gun before interviewing her. She says she did not realize the gun was on her person when told it would be a felony to be on an elementary school property with a firearm, or a middle school.
Just wearing all
Yeah, she's like, I just totally forgot. Totally forgot about this thing. Well, after she got home, she sent an email to the teacher. You're a child predator, and your only hope is your bitch-ass wife that is a cop. Otherwise, someone would have already dealt with you for your wrongs. You messed with the wrong family. I'll tell you that, so please say your prayers and kiss your kids goodbye and good night. You never know when God says it's our last time, so always be prepared.
That's a nice note.
Yeah.
Also proof.
She's due in court next week.
That's also what's going to put you in jail. So, but it was a well-written.
That's not a threat.
I bet it was.
I was just telling her.
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of URs instead of yours.
Yeah.
And finally, a OnlyFans model who was recently arrested for spraying her urine on more than $1,500 worth of merchandise at a grocery store in New Hampshire has been.
Was the urine in another package?
No.
She just peed on everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Her name is Kelly Tedford. Online, she's known as Kinky Kelly.
The Whizzinator?
Yes. She's been hit with 5 more criminal counts for an alleged pee spree at a hotel.
This woman needs to be stopped.
Yes.
We've got a genuine crime wave going on.
Yeah, this fetish is getting out of hand here.
Investigators allege that Tedford was at the Marriott in Keene on April 14th, and she urinated into a hotel room's air conditioner unit, which, come on, that's terrible. Relieved herself on a comforter, curtains, and a Bible. She is also charged with defecating on the floor and placing the waste into the toilet tank, a trick known as the, quote, upper decker.
She went to the upper.
She did an upper decker.
She did an upper decker, yeah.
I'm with you. She needs to be stopped at all costs.
This is, you got to go to jail. I'm sorry.
I think so.
Pee all over
Well,
everybody in
she can
there.
go pee in her cell all day long. I don't care.
They've even taken down her OnlyFans page. It got banned.
She'll start another one.
Yeah, I mean, so you can no longer pay $15 a month to see what Kinky Kelly is going to pee on this week. I mean, it's terrible.
Well, at least I haven't. If all things go south and I really need a gig, just grab my camera and just start checking into a hotel.
While her Kinky Kelly page has been deleted, you can still find videos of her online, including one clip showing her urinating on new clothes at a clothing store changing room, which she then put back on the rack.
Oh, man.
She's the worst person on earth, I think.
Need a death penalty. We might need to end this.
Yeah. She's scheduled for a May 8th arraignment on the felony and misdemeanor charges. So, you're right. She does need to be stopped. It's enough already. All right, let's hit our last break. When we come back, I'm going to give away a pair of tickets to Nyosa, and we'll do the daily lines. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames, because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster, which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Exclusive sponsor of Fiesta San Antonio, Gomez Law Firm encourages you to enjoy Fiesta responsibly. For more than 50 years, attorney Joe A. Gomez has been helping victims seriously injured in car and trucking accidents. If you've been injured in a car or trucking accident, hire personal injury attorney Joe Gomez. Born and raised right here in San Antonio. Visit joegomezlaw.com or call 210-736-4040 for a free consultation. Gomez Law fights. Gomez Law cares. Viva Fiesta.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads, race car bobbleheads, little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Guys over 40, tired of low energy, just not feeling like yourself? Testosterone replacement therapy by Synergenics is the answer. Don't waste time waiting for online services when you can start today. Treatment is tailor-made just for you, and it is covered by most major insurance. Visit one of their conveniently located clinics, see a medical provider, and feel great today. During April, the consultation is free. Why wait when you can be seen now? Book your appointment at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com. Feel like you again.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
I'd like to remind everybody, and my wife knows this, I'm like an old dog chasing a car. All right? I doubt very serious I can catch you, and if I did, I wouldn't know what the hell to do with you. Nor would any of you guys. You guys... Done? Yes.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagle. You're listening to the home of the Texas Rangers, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
right. I promised it, and I'm a promise keeper. Nyosa, April 29th at La Villita. It's easy for me to say, La Villita. Am I saying that right, Vic? Yeah. Villita?
The little village.
Okay. April 29th. Got a pair of tickets. Let's go caller number... I'm going to go with caller number 16. I'm going to make Edwin work.
Yeah.
Because I got to tell you guys a story. Today, we're going to go eat some Chinese food. And I went in. Famous James is going to go. Vic was going to go, but he's bailed on us. He's changed his mind.
Family obligation.
I think once he found out that Famous James was coming, he didn't want to go anymore.
News rat.
I wanted to be the only one.
But I said, Edwin, hey, we're going to go get some Chinese food for lunch after the show. Do you want to go? And he looked me dead in the face and said, no.
Just shut up.
No hesitation,
and then
nothing.
I think he like realized that maybe that wasn't the best way to do it. And he was like, where are you guys thinking about going? I said, Chinese food place down the street, really good. And he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
are you going?
It was when I first asked, he just looked at me like didn't even hesitate. He was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hang out with you outside of work.
I appreciate the non-social filter.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
I actually hate being around you.
I don't know why you would ask such things.
You think I want to hang out with you outside of work? Please, that's ridiculous.
This conversation has already become tiresome. I would like for you to leave.
I hope that you choke on chow mein and aren't at work tomorrow. I was like, wow.
But have a good day.
Yeah, but see ya.
Yeah.
But
Talk
absolutely
to you tomorrow.
See you later, buddy.
I will never see you outside of this place. They have to pay me to see you. You know that, right?
Ever in my life.
Every hour, I request even more money to stay in the same area as you.
Jeez.
Oh, man. All right. We gave away those tickets. Now let's do what we always do to wrap up the show, Rob, and let's take a look at the daily lines.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You covered, yeah!
All right, these games are tomorrow, Rob. But I'm going to ask you about them now. We'll get into them in more detail tomorrow. But
I'm going to need some help on the DFS side tomorrow.
Miami is +1 at the Hawks.
That's really low.
I think I like Miami. I know the Hawks have the better record. The Hawks are allegedly the better team. But again, you give me two equally meh teams.
Agreed.
In the playoff scenario, I'm going to take Spoelstra's team. I think I got to back the Heat here. The other matchup, the Mavericks at the Grizzlies. Mavericks catching 6.5. Feels like a lot of points.
Yeah, but that defense is solid.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that good.
Actually, kind of a high total considering 221.5 is the total. And Mavericks pretty solid defensively too.
I think that I'm waiting for the Grizzlies to reach that level of, I think that they're going to try hard to, because we'll prove we don't need to coach, and whoever was behind this is going to try to get it going. But there's such a built-in excuse with the Grizzlies right now that we saw a coaching error just the other day.
Yeah.
That, there's going to be some doubt in the players' minds. If Dallas can get a good lead, I think this could be quick. I do.
All right. I thought yesterday was the final day of the hockey regular season. It was just the Knights last day, so I got confused. There are a couple games today. Lightning are at the Rangers. Rangers -130. Islanders are at the Blue Jackets. Columbus is -145. Maple Leafs host the Red Wings. The Leafs are -135. The Sabres are -150 hosting the Flyers, and the Sabres suck. What a bad game. The Washington Capitals are at Pittsburgh, both teams -110, which probably tells you something about how much the Capitals care today. The Carolina Hurricanes are -105 at the Senators. The Calgary Flames are at the LA Kings. The Kings are -160 in that one. Major League Baseball. Something terrible happened yesterday, Rob. I had two bets yesterday. I split them. I had the under 8.5 in the Mariners-Reds game, and I played all reliable, and it bit me in the ass. Patrick Corbin Day, things turned against me.
Not only did he not lose,
he won the game. Patrick Corbin got the win for the Texas Rangers. Congratulations, Patrick Corbin Day, to Patrick Corbin, but you did ruin Patrick Corbin Day. Hopefully we get back on track with that soon. What I do think, he pitched well enough that he's earned another start.
Oh, I think he'll be fine.
And I got news.
Days coming.
I'll be back in the saddle.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't scaring me off with one win. Today, Eduardo Rodriguez goes for the Diamondbacks. They're at Miami. The D-backs minus 155. Trevor Williams and the Nats go to Pittsburgh. They had a fight yesterday between the Nationals and the Pirates.
Throwing at some heads, man.
Fight. Andrew Haney goes for the Pirates today. Pirates minus 150. Brian goes for the Mariners today. They are plus 110 in Cincinnati. Brady Singer goes for the Reds minus 130.
The Mariners are hot.
They are. J.P. Sears and the Athletics are minus 160 favorites on the road at the Chicago White Sox. Davis Martin going for the White Sox. That is a made-up person. The San Francisco Giants are in Philadelphia. Christopher Sanchez goes for the Phillies. Jordan Hicks for the Giants. Phillies minus 185 favorites. Tanner Bibby and the Guardians minus 115 in Baltimore. Tomoyuki Sugano. I still want to know what race this guy is. Like, what nationality is.
Japanese, right?
Tomoyuki sounds Japanese, but Sugano sounds like.
That sounds Japanese to me.
Sugano. Hey. That's Bobby Sugano, right? Hey, come on over here.
Didn't they host the Olympics in
let me
Nagano?
smack you in your head, Bobby Sugano. I don't know. I'm going to have to look up.
He's from Kanagawa, Japan.
Yeah.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. Kanagawa.
Sugano. Hey, Sugano.
He was born in 89.
Hey, that's a good year.
Hey.
Born on the island. Oh, Japan? I thought you meant the Sicily. My bad.
Wrong island. All right.
Michael Lorenzen for the Royals. They're at the Tigers. Reese Olson goes for the Tigers. They are minus 150. Will Warren and the Yankees are at Tampa, which really means they're at Steinbrenner Field.
Which is a home game on the road.
So this offseason, they really did a good job. So remember, the Rays are playing their home games because the Rays Stadium got blown away by the hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
So they're playing their home games at the Yankees spring training facility.
Okay.
And the Yankees just did a big overhaul of it and made like the locker rooms, like world-class locker room.
Oh, nice.
So they'd have all the comforts. And now the Yankees are showing up, and they have to go sit in the crumb-bum visiting locker room and probably eat like cold-cut sandwiches, and it's like
with mold on it.
Yeah.
Well,
man,
they know where all the good stuff is hidden.
But
it's funny. They opened at 120. They've dropped.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em right now.
So what happened? Somebody get pulled?
I don't know. It says Will Warren for the Yankees, Taj Bradley for the Rays. Will Warren, things have not gone great for him this year. That could be part of why. Andre Payante.
Easy for you to say.
Andre Payante? Payante? You say Payante, I say Palante. I don't know. It's Andre P. goes for the Cardinals. They're at the Mets. Griffin Canning for the Mets, minus 135. Jack Kakanovich.
Be careful.
Plus 130 at the Rangers. Kumar Rocker going for the Rangers. The Rangers are minus 155.
Kumar Rocker 0-2 with a 7.9
Yet
ERA.
they are minus 155. That probably tells you something about Jack Kakanovich.
Yeah.
But it also tells, the Angels could only score one run off Patrick Corbin. So
wait till they get a load of Rocker.
Wait till they see Kumar. Now, I can't imagine a world where there's a fella named Kumar related to John Rocker.
If it is, neither one acknowledges the other.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
They're not proud of each other's heritage.
Yeah, they are. They butt heads, I'm guessing.
No.
But yeah, Kumar Rocker not off to a great start to the season. The latest odds on the series prices in the NBA: the Pacers minus 195 against the Bucks.
How much?
The Bucks plus 160 on the comeback. The Clippers and Nuggets are a pick'em. Minus 110 both ways. That feels right to me. I think the Clippers are going to win.
I'll tell you what, if you'd have told me the Clippers Nuggets in the first round series would have been a pick'em in December, I'd have laughed at you.
Before the season, I really thought the Clippers weren't going to make the playoffs.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'd have laughed at you. There's no way.
Yeah, so it just goes to show. I know nobody around here likes to hear it, but a healthy Kawhi is still a pretty terrifying thing. And I wouldn't want to get in the way of it right now.
Just like Memphis, I look at Denver as a team that's got a built-in excuse, that's got a reason to fail. And that's the last thing I need for any of the teams I like is to have a reason or an excuse to fail. And
you'll have Star who would like to go back and see his horse. I have not seen my horse in 3 months. What? But playoff, I already have champion. What do I need here?
82 games.
I play 82. How many more do you want from me?
Need any more money? Let me go.
The Knicks and the Pistons, I'm still baffled by this line. The Pistons are plus 310 in the series. I like the Pistons. I think the Pistons are going to win this series. Is my disrespect for the Knicks going too far?
I think it a little far. Just because they do have to play in the Garden, and they're going to have, in the Garden, the Knicks are a good team. Away from the Garden, they're an average team.
Well, the Knicks are a good team when they play the Wizards and the Dredges.
Mm-hmm.
They're real good when they line up against the Jazz and the Hornets.
I think this argument will hold water in the next series. You know what I mean? I think this is one of
the Celtics are going to.
Yeah, I think that's when we'll really expose them. Right now, they're playing a bunch of kids.
Yeah, you're right. The Lakers minus 195 against the Timberwolves. Timberwolves plus 160. Celtics minus 5,000 against the Orlando Magic. 16-1 on your money if you think the Magic can get that job done. Right. And as I mentioned, the Warriors 2-1 favorites over the Houston Rockets. The 7 seed that just won a play-in game, minus 195.
That is silly.
Against the Rockets, plus 160 the comeback if you like the Rockets.
I like the Rockets.
Do you?
Well, yes. How did we get here?
I'll be honest, Rob. When I was watching the Warriors game, knowing the Warriors are going to win and they're going to go play the Rockets, my first thought was, I think I might bet the Warriors against the Rockets. I thought the Warriors were going to be like a slight underdog, or at worst like minus 110. I had no idea they were going to be a 2-1 favorite. That's crazy.
I can't imagine it'll be that when they go to tip. Money's going to come the other way. But think about how. Now, granted, yes.
But also,
these
they're
are old
playing
heads.
a bunch of kids.
Yeah, they're playing a bunch of kids, and these are old heads. But Golden State cannot play any better than they did against Memphis. They can't expect to have Steph get 37, Butler get 36, and to win by a mistake.
On the road, man.
On the road? Dude,
yeah.
I'm worried for the prospects for Golden State.
All right, that'll do it for us, friends. The Blitz. Jason and Joe, you may have heard of them. They'll come up at 2. They'll try and do a good show. I give them 78% chance of doing so.
They do.
Thanks to you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
A sort of accident-prone bride. What's the deal?
I was just kind of like blacking out. I don't even know how to explain it, but...
Some lucky guy's going to marry her.
Oh my
God, I just threw up.
The 60 seconds that she was out was everybody else's favorite part of that wedding.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.